Trade deadline day in the National Football League. Everybody else is out there making silly deals. Silly deals. Not the Packers. No, not the Packers. There is a distinct difference between the Green Bay Packers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and everybody else. And it seems like there's only a couple of people actually getting it as we wake up today. Will the Packers make a deal?
Just do a silly deal.
Yeah, just to do a silly deal. Why? Yeah. It was the discussion all morning between what should be done for the Packers, what should be done for the Buccaneers. Roquan Smith is on the move as the Baltimore Ravens. They want to bolster their team. Obviously, other teams that feel that they have a chance to go for it are going for it. Meanwhile, the Green Bay Packers coveting that gold like grim death. They're going to hang on to that because, every draft choice they've ever taken is perfect. I think it's a very clear indicator and a very loud message that, we don't believe in you. It's not about, we're pretty good with our room. No, you're not. It's, we don't believe in you. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. I woke up and I started thinking about this today, and I thought, okay, maybe today's the day. And I thought to myself, why? Why would today be any different? Packers should have done something 2 weeks ago if they were going to do something. You are paying Jair Alexander as the top corner in the league, one of the top corners in the league, and yet you won't let him play man coverage. It's philosophically just stupid. Okay. You're paying Aaron Rodgers $50 million a year. Not going to get any help. And oh, by the way, you only got a couple of years left. But let's build for the future. We don't want to give up the future. When you paid him $50 million a year to come back, you were all in the now, not the future. And I've been preaching the difference between some of these other teams that they talk about. Well, they're going for it, but they're not giving up their future. They've got young quarterbacks. They've got this. They've got and they're all right. I'm not saying that they're wrong. They're all right. The difference is you have got Rodgers for a year or two. You're in the here and the now. There is no tomorrow when it comes to this football team. You went all in. Didn't you? You went all in. Otherwise, just let them go. Just start the Jordan Love era, start stockpiling the draft picks, and legitimately build for the future. That is understandable. But this, we're going to make calls and kick tires, but we're never going to make a deal. We're never going to do anything. We're never going to be substantive. No. I get it that, to a certain extent, hands are tied. Rodgers has to own as much of this as he can. And this whole thing about, being smarter than the average bear, I guess, and there's some comments that he's made, and I find very interesting, where he talks about managing a football game and such. That is a very loud statement. In other words, you're paying me $50 million to be a game manager? Right. Then again, had he not waffled and taken his sweet time in coming back, knowing Devontae wanted a deal, and that was his guy, he doesn't find himself in this predicament. He could have called Devontae at any point in time and said, hey, I'm coming back. I'm going to play at least 3 years. This is what my goal is. Let's do this together. Let's make this run. Devontae probably would have come back. But where you're at now, nah. This is all a mass doing of obstinance and stupidity. So while we're sitting here today, 5 hours, less than 5 hours away now, 4 hours and 53 minutes from the trade deadline, I got to think I would be at this point semi-shocked. And I don't get shocked over a lot of stuff, but I would be kind of shocked if the Packers made any kind of substantial move. I don't think it's going to happen. I know I woke up today with a lot of different tweets and scenarios and emails and people saying, "Hey, what about this? And could we move this?" And I appreciate it, man. I love hearing from everybody. I really do. But no. And I hate to be the bucket of cold water, but I don't think the Packers are going to do anything. Especially after Matt LaFleur's comments, where he's sending a message to throw the word silly in there. He is sending a message. Here's what he had to say about the Packers possibly making a trade.
Yeah, we've been having those conversations for weeks now, and it really comes down to opportunity. If the right opportunity presents itself, I know that Goody's all on board of trying to upgrade our roster. You're always trying to do that, but we're not going to just do a silly deal.
We're not going to do a silly deal. What is a silly deal? That would have been my next question. That would have been a follow-up question. Matt, what's a silly deal? Because you're sending a message.
I don't know what that means.
Right. You're sending a message. We're not doing a silly deal. We're not going to be silly like these other teams. We're not doing a silly deal. Not going to do it. Now, remember, I think the rumor was Chase Claypool for a second, as opposed to Josh Jackson, who was your second-round draft choice. Josh Jones, second-round draft choice. Kevin King was a second-round draft choice, too, by the way. Jason Spriggs, second-round draft choice. Quentin Rollins, second-round draft choice. Should I keep going? The last time you really crushed it out of the park with a second-round draft choice was 2014. That was Devontae Adams. And if you get a quality wide receiver that you would end up paying anyway, because otherwise you're completely a lying organization, you were going to pay Devontae, right? So what's the big deal if you get Chase Claypool, a guy like that, on the second year of his deal or with another year to go, and then you pay him down the road? What's the big deal? So then Christian Watson really does develop. Romeo Doubs really does develop. And suddenly you've got three really good wide receivers. What's the downside in that? Where's the silliness there? In other words, other teams are doing silly deals. They're going for it. They believe their rosters are pretty good. They're trying to bolster their weaknesses and give their either defense something to work with or their quarterback something to work with, but yet the Packers won't make a silly deal. That is the epitome. That is the epitome of the arrogance of this organization. Oh, that's beneath us. We won't do that. Well, then you know what? You better hit on every effing draft choice, which you have not done. You have not done. So hang on to those draft choices. Here come the 80s. You're staring right down the barrel of it, and you just don't want to do anything because you're going to hang on to the future. I find it unconscionable at this point. 877-867-1670. Good day to you. Ben Kenny, how you doing today? You got rained out last night, man.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. It's an okay morning. Can't say it's great. Can't say it's poor. I look forward to days like this. The deadline, from my point of view, it's fun. You know, we're monitoring things, looking for news to break. Yeah. But yes, my expectations are with you. They are quite low for what they're going to do. And we had the discussion this morning. Like, is it worth making a move for the sake of making a move? The old baseball Brewers argument to provide a boost to the locker room.
I think if you are going to, I think it does two things. One, it does the boost to the locker room, but I think if you make a move that can legitimately make you better, what's wrong with that? You know? That's my question. If the move makes you better, then what's wrong with that? And if the move can make you better for more than a year, then that's beneficial. It's not like you're renting a player for 3 months or 2 months. Some of these guys we're talking about, you know, they have substantial either money and or contracts or they've got another year to go. So you've got time to see what you've got and work it out, whether it's get even better next year if you're going to reload for Aaron Rodgers in year 2 of this 3-year deal, or then you've got a guy that still has another year on his contract and you can then trade away for that second-round draft choice again. What downside is there?
Yeah. It's funny. That's the same thing the Brewers think, you know, need a player with years of team control, get him in the building cheap,
right?
Keep him for a couple, 3-4 years. That's what they go for at the deadline.
Yep. And
I'm with you, though.
The difference is they're there. Those players are there. And, this whole thing about, well, we've been talking for weeks. About what? What have you been talking about? About how you can't you can't allow the highest paid defensive back in the league to play one-on-one? About how you're not gonna make a trade to better your team, but you're gonna hang on to an inept defensive coordinator like Grim Death? Is that what you're discussing? How your offense looks pathetic and predictable, and everybody's now saying it? About how your defense, which was supposed to be so staunch and better in the trenches, is one of the worst against the run? About how your ineptitude and your obstinance basically said, no, we're not going to run the football until you didn't have any receivers left. Then you discovered you had a run game when we all been screaming it for a long time. Is that what you've been discussing? Or you've been pulling each other by the waist trying to get your head out of your asses? 877-867-1670. Give us a shout if you choose to do so. You can hit us up on the Bud Light live stream as well. 877-867-1670. Find us on Twitter at Bill_Michaels. Facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on YouTube as well. And track us down over there. You can subscribe absolutely free on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. Give us a shout there and subscribe. It's, like I said, it's free, and we'll pop up every morning or whenever we go on the air, and you get some good stuff there. So find us. We certainly appreciate it. That's just my opinion. When I was out relatively calm yesterday until I heard Matt LaFleur's presser, and that was clearly sending a message. Clearly sending a message. In other words, yeah, the Rams were silly last year when they picked up a couple of players. That Von Miller deal didn't work out for us. Oh, that was silly. OBJ was silly. That's just silly. That's silly. Yeah, they're sitting there with a ring as big as your freaking head. And what are you doing? You're calling pathetic offenses, really not creative in any sense or shape or form. And basically, you're kind of looking foolish because it's been proven that between the brain trust of Nathaniel Hackett and Luke Getsy, you can't do it on your own anymore. Anything else you'd like to discuss that's silly? More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
One of the worst things that you can hear, you have cancer. The worst is when you hear the words, your child has cancer. When a child is diagnosed with cancer, it changes their world. Sometimes they can't even do things that they really love, like playing soccer, riding a bike, going to prom, attending school. Children with cancer spend a lot of time away from others, time in the hospital, treatments, tired, nauseous, and they feel isolated. That's where Special Spaces Wisconsin steps in. They provide these children with a special space where they can not only sleep, but they can play, they can heal, they can spend time away from the challenges of their illness. It's a customized bedroom designed just for them. How about a princess castle or a pirate ship or a sports-themed bedroom? They transform that child's existing bedroom into a place that only he or she can imagine. A place for them just to be a kid. This effort is done with teams of dedicated volunteers and sponsors, just like our friends from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and all the community partners. If you'd like to find out more or to donate, go to specialspaces.org. That is specialspaces.org.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Previous question, you had said that you and Goody have been talking a long time about trade deadline, things to do. Are you open to being sellers if the right situation comes? Are you, as a head coach, I know there's a lot of season left, you're not even out of it any stretch, but if a good deal comes around, are you okay with that?
I hope not. But, you never know.
I got more. Oh, I got more. It's well, like timing is everything sometimes in this business. I just get done discussing the trade while you do it, what am I trying? What is the word I'm trying to grope for here? The urgency of the moment, I guess, because you are on the final few years of a quarterback with the ability to get you to a Super Bowl, with a coach that seems at times almost clueless, with all the different things lacking. And no more than I said it, the Packers put out, they are going to induct Jordy Nelson and Josh Sitton at the 52nd Hall of Fame banquet. Look over here. Jordy's coming back. Look. Well, unless he's coming back to catch passes, now's not the time. Now's not. If that's your big news today, you are exactly what we've been proclaiming for years. The corporate PR machine, and you're not going to do anything to really get that much better. You're just churning it out. Keep those season ticket holders happy. Wow. And then, of course, it's immediately retweeted by the mouthpieces. Oh, look, Jordy's coming. Jordy's coming. Oh, my God. Yes. Yes. Oh, God. Oh, somebody run quick. Give me a change of pants. Oh, my God. Him and Josh Sidden are coming back. Oh, my good Lord. This is a banner day. Bring me something stretchy. I need it. Something that preferably doesn't have a belt. Oh, my God. My pants are swelling underneath. It's just incredible. Oh, it's a great day in Packer fandom. Yay! Not to say they don't deserve the honor. It's just odd that it comes out today, isn't it? We're not going to make a silly trade. But guess what? Jordy's coming back. Yeah! We're going to relive the Super Bowl. Oh, my goodness. Oh, all is right with the kingdom. This is awesome. I can't wait for snow to go down the sledding hill. Crap. Just give me a big rubber disc. I'm going down on it. Just sliding down that hill. Going to pass by Hinterland. I might get a pizza on my way out. What? We got to displace all the season ticket holders in the parking lot? We're going to build something because the players are cold when they get to Lambeau. Put it underground. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is just, there I went again. Oh, my God. Jordy's coming back. Jordy's coming back, and he's coming back with Josh Sidden. Oh, my God. Twice in a day.
Your ass.
Twice in a day. Why in the world did I ever get married? This is incredible. There you go. There you go. That's the big news of the day out of Green Bay. Trade deadline day, but Jordy and Josh are coming back.
Who's next? Bakhtiari?
Right? Right? We're going to get an update on Bakhtiari. Bakhtiari's swelling went down. Well, I heard Jordy was coming back, and my swelling went up. Woo! Oh, my God. You know what we should do? This is what we should do. We should all get a watch party together, like on a Thursday night. All right? We get a watch party together. And what I'll do is I'll go back and dig up some old games from, say, 81, 82, 83. And we'll sit down and watch them. I think we should do this. And it's kind of like, you know, if you're going to go like with the dogs and you're going to do the Iditarod, you begin training in northern climates for the Iditarod. What we should do is begin training for the 80s to return. And I'm not talking about me sitting there in a Miami Vice, you know, Sonny Crockett pink shirt with a white jacket, or maybe dancing to the Go-Go's or something like that, or, you know, putting a bandana on and singing Born in the USA with Bruce Springsteen. I'm talking about watching really bad football, inept, poor organizational football. So, Steve, it's not hatred. That's just it. It's not hatred for the Packers because I love the Packers. I grew up a Packers fan, believe it or not. And I've told this before. My mom and dad were huge Bart Starr fans. So whenever we got a Packers game on when I grew up as a kid in Ohio, I mean, it was must-see TV. My dad grew up a huge Lombardi fan, a huge Bart Starr fan. And one of the highlights of my life was to get my dad to meet Bart Starr. I mean, it was and will always be one of the best things that I've ever done as a kid, as a son. My dad was so proud. He got his picture taken on the field with Bart, and it was just such a cool moment. And I'll never forget my first day walking into Lambeau Field, Bob Harlan taking me out to the stands and kind of sitting there and listening. Nobody's there. You just listen in the stands, just sit in the bleachers, and you just realize the greatness that has walked across that field. All the incredible moments, the fan base, how truly fanatical they are. how supportive they are. You think about it as a fan, right? And then when you see it, it's kind of like a train coming down the tracks. You can see it. It's coming. Here it is. It is about to punch you in the face. And you have the ability for a short period of time even to move that light backwards, to avoid that collision. And you don't do it, it angers me. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I understand that. I get it. I've been around the business a long, long, long time. Since 1992, I've been doing sports talk radio, okay? In one facet or another. I've studied a lot of good. I've studied a lot of bad. Believe me, I covered the Bengals for years. I went through Kajana Carter falling off of a treadmill to tear his knee up for the second time as his first-round draft choice. So David Klingler, Achilles Smith. I can go through the whole list of these guys. Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson punching his pregnant girlfriend in the gut with a telephone. I mean, I can go through the whole list of just bad that I've seen. And I have always thought that this organization just does it and does it right because they want to win and want to win consistently. Not just to get to the postseason, just to snowball their fan base, but because it's about winning championships. That's what it's always been. And to have 2 Super Bowls, 3 appearances in 30 plus years, and to have the talent sitting there, and you just don't do the extra thing to put you over the top, to really give everybody in that locker room the confidence to say, you know what, everybody believes in this team. We believe in this team. Not to sit there every day and wake up with one eye raised and go, got a question mark over there, because you know you're only as good as your weakest link. When you look at it that way, and you see teams around you moving with the times, saying, you know what, the trade deadline used to mean nothing. Now it means something for teams that want to go for it, for teams that believe, for teams that are going to take a shot. And to just sit there year after year after year and say, this is available, that's available, whether through obstinance or ignorance. Nothing. You started this season on paper with a defense that you thought was upgraded from where it was last year. And we all thought, you know, this thing could end up being top 10, top 5, right? Right? I mean, are we making this up? Right? And you lost your number 1 offensive weapon. And you thought, well, you know what? You pick up a couple of guys, make a couple of receptions, work with what you got. You got a good tandem in the run game. Your offensive line, for the most part, you thought was pretty good. One of the best pass blocking offensive lines in the league for years and years and years. And you're sitting here going, we've got this machine. We spent all this money on special teams just for a coach, for God's sakes. And all you got to do is just say, guys, we believe. Let's get this thing straight. Let's creep in as a wild card. We've won a Super Bowl as a wild card. Let's just get hot at the right time. Right now, it looks terrible. What's in the past is past. But let's build on something. Let's move forward. Let's beat Detroit, get another win, and start to gain some confidence. And then maybe whoever it is we get can become more and more and more acclimated over the next 2 weeks to get you ready for the Dallas Cowboys. Because I'll tell you this, one thing we don't want as an organization is to have Mike McCarthy and everything that happened on the way out the door and the bad blood and the ugliness. The one thing we don't want to do is not only lose another game, but lose in dramatic, ugly fashion to a guy that, while he did bring us a championship, also it was a very ugly departure on both sides. You don't want that guy to come in and kick your ass and humiliate you. You know why? Because not only is he doing it to your front office and to your team, but he's doing it to your fan base. So you have this passion, you have this anxiety as a fan. I want to see them get better. I don't want to see them waste the last couple of years of Aaron Rodgers. Otherwise, why did you bring him back? Why did you waste the money? You know, it just doesn't make sense. It's like looking at a Corvette going, boy, that's a beautiful car. I really like that. And then they say, well, you know, for an extra $20,000, you can go from a 4-cylinder up to an 8-cylinder and an LS engine. Nah, just give me that the way it is. It looks good. Yeah, people are going to look at that car. That's a nice car. It's never going to run as fast as the other Corvettes, and I'm never going to get around the track as fast as everybody else, and I'm certainly never going to win a race with that. But everybody will look at it and think it's really cool, even though we all know under the hood it sucks. Right? Okay. You don't want to upgrade? Nah, we're good. You sure you don't want to upgrade? No, we're good. No. We like that, but that's all we're going to do. Okay, good. That's it. That's what they did. That's what they did. Okay, I'll get to the phone calls when we come back, I promise you. I woke up today in a really good mood, and then just as the day has gone on and the more I hear, and it's just, I'm just pissed. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Oh, look, Jordy's coming. Jordy's coming. Oh my God. Yes. Oh God. Oh, somebody run quick. Give me a change of pants. Welcome back. The big announcement today. Trade made? No. Jordy Nelson, Josh Sitton, they're going to be inducted into the Packers Hall of Fame. Now, let me say this. Both of those guys deserve it. Key contributors, Sitton, especially with Jordy. I mean, you can't really judge one without the other. I mean, both guys played a tremendous role in winning championships and being competitive and being what Packers are, tough, hard-nosed, gritty. Jordy's accolades certainly speak for themselves. They 100% deserve to go into the Hall of Fame. It's just the timing of the announcement on the morning that the trade deadline is looming pretty much says to me that that's the big news of the day coming out of Green Bay. Now, I'd love for them to prove me wrong. I would love to make everything I've said earlier today completely useless and defamatory, I guess. But I just get the feeling that it's not happening. Hopefully it does, but I maybe it'll happen. Maybe right now you've got to, because it does take two to tango. Maybe you've got Brian Gutekunst right now. He's on hold and he's on with 3 or 4 other teams and he's got a second round draft choice out there and the teams are waiting to see if somebody's going to outbid them. And then here at the trade deadline, maybe they do make a deal. I think what we should all do at this point is you and I just say a little prayer that maybe it works out that way. So please, at this point in time, please bow your head and we're actually going to pray in the air. And if you don't believe in any kind of a deity, then just play along with us for a minute and, eat your Halloween candy from last night. We would like this, Lord, on this particular day. And for those of you and you listening to this program, because I know the Lord tunes into the Bill Michaels Show. He listens to all, takes all into consideration. We pray as a Packers fan base that the Green Bay Packers, Brian Gutekunst and company, have the foresight to say, look, we need to do something. We understand that our team is not good the way it is right now. That just give them the guidance and the mental stability to say, yes, we can. Yes, we can. To make a lot of people very joyous, just to say that we're doing something to try to get better, something that maybe is going to help us down the road as well. But we just need to move in the right direction. Give him the guidance to do what's right and to move forward with the agenda of many Packers fans. To make a move. Amen. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. All right, let's take phone calls. Ben, where the hell are we at? Is Eric on hold still? Let's go to Eric.
Yes.
Eric, how you doing, man?
Doing all right, Bill. I'm feeling your intensity, brother.
I appreciate it. Somebody's got to. Otherwise, I could blow a blood vessel here. I need a Tylenol.
Right, yeah. You're going to have that vein in your forehead pop out and start Monty Python squirting all over the joint.
Yes.
I feel you, man.
What's
up? Hey,
first
about Jordy and Josh. I'd rather hear that Jordy was coming back as a wide receivers coach, and Josh Sitton got ran out of town for dropping racist remarks and dropping an N-bomb on Clinton Dix, so I don't know what message that sends necessarily. and certainly not what we want to hear today. I agree with you fully. I find myself in constant envy of Ozzie Newsome and his crew with the Baltimore Ravens, or in missing Reggie McKenzie. You know, I could smack Mark Davis for screwing us out of getting him. But the Ravens always seem to do what we should have done, or be in the right place at the right time. I mean, in the 2020 draft, they were sitting right behind Green Bay, and they had to have been partying it up and cheering after every single one of Green Bay's picks, because the people they got is who we should have got, and they're all starters on the team now, impact players. And now they go out and they get a Roquan Smith for a 2 and a 5. I don't think that's silly at all.
Nope.
I'd pick up Roquan Smith for a 2 and a 5 in a heartbeat.
Yep.
To add to these middle linebackers. And I find it hard to believe that Goody didn't know that was out there. No, that's not adding a weapon, but it does beef up your run defense. Yeah, it sure does. And, as far as adding a weapon, there are quite a few dumpster fire teams out there with weapons on them. And I just don't understand why they won't go get one. I just don't get it. I'm right with you. It's like, if you can get Roquan Smith for a 2 and a 5, I mean, come on, man.
Right.
I mean, it frustrates me too. As we get on into the day, hopefully they come out with another announcement saying that, hey, man, guess what? We got Waller, or we got McLaurin, or it would have been, DK Metcalf would have been great to get in the offseason. He's making Geno Smith look like a world beater right now, and they didn't make a move on that. They could have got him. There's just all these coulda, woulda, shouldas, and that doesn't help anything on the field.
Right.
I just don't understand. Thanks for taking my call, Bill. Hope you had a great Halloween, man.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Speaking of that, I did take a picture and I posted it. I was ready. I got off the air yesterday. I went and got my bucket of candy. I went over to Woodman's, grabbed a couple of the big Reese cups, because let's be honest, okay? Between you, me, and the fence post, it's Snickers, Reese cups, Twix, Kit Kats. That's what kids love. At least that's what we love, right? For the most part. Okay. So I went out and I got a bag of each, small bag, but a bag of each. And I sat there, turned the lights on. All the lights on were the house. Had the TV right there in the front room going. Sat in the front chair right there looking out the window like a dog waiting for its owners to come home. Took a picture of the bucket and the neighborhood. Like, just waiting. Here we go, trick-or-treaters. I had one kid. One nice little kid, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years old, walking around with his mom. Rang the doorbell. Said, "Trick or treat, please." I even complimented the mom. "Oh, he's got manners. Very nice. Way to go, Mom." "Thank you very much." Okay. That was it. It was all I got last night. Now I got 4 bags of candy and a giant tank ass. That's what's going to happen. Just throwing it out there. What has happened to trick-or-treating on Trick-or-Treat? And the worst part about it was the kids in the neighborhood didn't trick-or-treat over the weekend. I didn't see any kids out. So I don't know. I have no idea. You've got on CBS Sports, it says, while the Green Bay Packers have been notoriously stingy with their draft choices, often preferring to build their team in April instead of via trades and free agent signings, they need to make a move now in order to avoid wasting one of Aaron Rodgers' final seasons. Saying this for a while. They're averaging 18.1 points per game, the fewest through the first 8 games of the season since 1992, Brett Favre's first year with the Green Bay Packers. The clear position of need is at wide receiver, since the Packers haven't been able to come close to replacing Devontae Adams in that productivity through the draft picks of Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Samori Toure. Familiar faces like Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, and bargain bin free agent signings like Sammy Watkins aren't getting it done. Rodgers simply hasn't been able to get on the same page with the pass catchers all season, as the Packers have 0 players with 400 yards receiving through the first 8 games of the season for the first time since 2003. The lack of trust, chemistry, and connection has shown itself in Rodgers' decline when throwing outside the numbers, a place he used to thrive when throwing the back shoulder to a guy like Devontae Adams. Passer rating 113.1. Inside the numbers. Outside the numbers, 91.2. He's 6th in the NFL inside the numbers. He's 22nd in the NFL outside the numbers. Another era that highlights the clear disconnect between the back-to-back NFL MVP and his receivers is Rodgers' dip in yards per pass attempt. With time to throw and no pressure, Rodgers led the NFL with 11.2 yards per pass attempt in those situations last season, but he now ranks 30th among 35 qualified quarterbacks under the same parameters this season. In conclusion, the Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst needs to give this guy a break and acquire a veteran wideout Rodgers can quickly bring into the fold. There you go. That is from CBS Sports. JJ said the season is lost, so it's time to prepare for 2023. Let me say this, JJ. While I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to say the season is completely done. I'm not going to go with that. It's very grim. I'll give you that. But if the whole thing, as we just read, is about trust and getting on the same page, then why not bring in a receiver you're going to have for more than a year and give him at least half a season to get on the same page rather than trying to force it down somebody's throats and let Cobby coach him up in the OTAs and the mini camps for only Aaron Rodgers to ride in training camp and then try to work on his game and connection and relationship with the wide receivers around him. It would make more sense to do a deal now as well. Right? I can refute any argument against getting a player. The whole thing about hanging onto the draft choices, I've already been through the draft with you. You know, draft choices that looked promising that just ended up faltering and looking bad. So it's either bad coaching or bad drafting. Take your pick. Take your pick. Steve says all this about Cobby coaching them up is pure trash. We didn't say it, Steve, just an FYI. We didn't say it. Rodgers said it. He said, I don't need to come to the OTAs and minicamps. Let Cobby coach him up. And that way, when I get there in training camp, they're already ahead of the game, and we can all get on the same page. Just an FYI. 877-867-1670. Hang in there. This portion of the Bill Michaels Show brought to you by our friends over there at Bud Light. Tomorrow night, we're back down at the Mecca in the Deer District. Going to be at the Mecca Bar and Grill inside the Deer District tomorrow night for the Bill Michaels Huddle, brought to you by Bud Light. It's from 6 to 8 tomorrow night. Come on down. By the way, speaking of the Deer District, the Bucks get a win again last night. It was a tight one down the stretch. Big bucket by Holiday and a couple of defensive plays by Giannis. But big bucket last night. Good stuff. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
One of the worst things that you can hear, you have cancer. The worst is when you hear the words, your child has cancer. When a child is diagnosed with cancer, it changes their world. Sometimes they can't even do things that they really love, like playing soccer, riding a bike, going to prom, attending school. Children with cancer spend a lot of time away from others. Time in the hospital, treatments, tired, nauseous, and they feel isolated. That's where Special Spaces Wisconsin steps in. They provide these children with a special space where they can not only sleep, but they can play, they can heal, they can spend time away from the challenges of their illness. It's a customized bedroom designed just for them. How about a princess castle or a pirate ship or a sports-themed bedroom? They transform that child's existing bedroom into a place that only he or she can imagine. A place for them just to be a kid. This effort is done with teams of dedicated volunteers and sponsors, just like our friends from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and all the community partners. If you'd like to find out more or to donate, go to specialspaces.org. That is specialspaces.org.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Now, in Green Bay, here's Mike Clemens.
The Packers viewed the tape of their 27-17 loss to the Bills. The game started out with another crisis on Green Bay's offensive line when Elton Jenkins was placed on the inactive list, not for his knee, but for a foot injury he suffered last week in practice. Head coach Matt LaFleur.
It happened on Thursday. Just one of those deals where he got stepped on, and we thought he was going to be all right. I think he thought he was going to be all right. And, Sunday morning, didn't feel great. Took him out in pregame, worked him out, and just it was one of those deals where he was having pain in a certain area and just didn't feel like it was worth the risk.
That meant rookie Zach Tom had to play left guard. The offensive line was able to move the ball in the ground game against the Bills' number 1 ranked defense, but came up short scoring points. Left tackle David Bakhtiari.
I appreciate the fight, but loss is a loss. Got to get it corrected. It's not something that I'm not going to take victories on these losses. It's a L in the L column. We got to get it fixed.
The Packers look to snap a 4-game losing streak when they head to Detroit to face the Lions on Sunday. The Lions losing another one at the buzzer. The Dolphins coming back down 27-17 at halftime to score a touchdown in the final seconds for a 31-27 win. The Lions are now 1-6. Head coach Dan Campbell.
Those guys came back and played well the second half and stayed to their game plan, what they did, we didn't overcome it.
That's Lions head coach Dan Campbell. In Green Bay, I'm Mike Clemens on the Bill Michaels Show.
4451. That's the New Mel Medical Center. Again, 414-455-4451. Here's something for you. Dan Orlovsky. I love watching Dan and breaking it down. Dan Orlovsky says this season, the Packers have had 3,003 snaps on defense played by first and second round draft choices. It's the most in the NFL. And after that, he puts, it's the most disappointing unit in football. Let that sink in. The Packers have had 3,003 snaps on defense played by first and second round draft choices. The most in the NFL. It is the most disappointing unit in football. So the question, first of all, that's an incredible indictment. It's true, but it's an incredible indictment. So now you have to ask yourself, okay? Here's where truth comes in. Is it bad coaching or a completely overrated talent evaluation? We're going to hear from Matt LaFleur coming up. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. That's coming up. We do have to talk a little Bucks basketball. I got to get into that too. Bucks won yet again, and now they're the only undefeated team in the NBA still, and they're squarely in the crosshairs of everybody. So we're going to talk with our buddy Jim Ozarski from the Journal-Sentinel, covers the Bucks. Got to talk a little bit about somebody that's got some success going on, right? Good day today. Good way to start the day. A lot of fire, a lot of passion, a lot of comments on the Bud Light live stream. I'm loving it. Twitter's blowing up. I'm loving it. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
With the NFL's trade deadline looming today at 3 o'clock, sitting at 3-5, losers of 4 straight, head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur, was asked if he's been in contact with Packers GM Brian Gutekunst on improving this roster.
Yeah, we've been having those conversations for weeks now, and it really comes down to opportunity. If the right opportunity presents itself, I know that Goody's all on board of trying to upgrade our roster. You're always trying to do that, but we're not going to just do a silly deal.
Up next for the Packers, they're in Detroit on Sunday to take on the Lions. Wisconsin football is coming off their bye. They'll now host Maryland at the camp on Saturday, and interim head coach Jim Leonhard says it's all about urgency.
Right. Sometimes when you come off a bye, you have to be careful of walking through the beginning part of the week and just feeling good about yourself. Like, we're going to push these guys to snap back into it. I think they responded well today, just in a walkthrough setting. Just the focus, the urgency was there, and we have to hit that every day.
Kickoff is Saturday at 11 a.m.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today.
The 2018 campaign, and will host Detroit again on Wednesday. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Good day. Welcome back. Glad to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on hour number 2. We got a lot to get to. We'll get to everything today. Believe me. Today's one of those fired up days, trying to get to the trade deadline, if you will, and so we'll get to it, no doubt about it. But the Bucks, they continue to win. Got to talk a little Bucks basketball. Drew Holiday with a big bucket, big three down the stretch last night, and put them on top for good as they knocked off Detroit. And the Bucks have yet to take a blemish on the record. Talk more about it. Jim Ozarski of the Journal Sentinel now joining us. Jim, how you been, buddy?
Hey, I'm good, Bill. I'm good. Enjoying nice Midwestern fall golf weather here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is kind of late for us to be able to hit some golf. I'm not doing it right now, of course. I'm
Right.
you. But, yeah, man, I'm good.
So let's start off with this, the team, the way they've played so far. I mean, it didn't look great in the preseason. Not that the preseason means a whole lot. Didn't get a lot of minutes for Giannis. And, man, they flipped the switch. And next thing you know, they've just taken off. And whether they're winning with defense, whether they're winning with big buckets like we saw last night, good shooting, passing the basketball, it seems like a team right now that certainly, at least out of the gates, looks like they're on a mission.
Yeah, and look, I'll admit I didn't see this coming. I thought for sure this was a team that was going to start out, 4-3, 6-4, maybe even a little similar to last year where they were under 500 the first month of the season. I just felt like with them working Giannis in, no Middleton, no Connaughton, it might not look great. And then lo and behold, Philadelphia looked worse. Brooklyn wasn't yet the dumpster fire it is, but clearly was on its way.
Yeah.
And, look, some Houston, Detroit, feisty teams, but, no rest days in here for the big guys for the Bucks. And, yeah, 6-0, Bill. First time since that 18-19 season, Bud's first year when they won 60 games. And they're really doing it defensively because, look, Giannis has scored a bunch of points, but every game, Bill, he's saying he doesn't really feel like he's in a groove, and his shooting percentages indicate that. Drew Holiday isn't shooting it well as a team. Bill, they missed 14 straight threes to open the second half last night, and then what happens? Drew Holiday hits two, and those two stopped the Detroit run and essentially won the game in the last 45 seconds. So if there's a benefit to having a veteran team, I think the Bucks have seen it.
So let's talk about Chris Middleton. When do they expect him back?
So, of course, Bill, they have their timeline. It's something they're not sharing with us. No one has told me this. I'm not reporting this, but the feel has been, this is November 1st. To me, the feel has been like in this next week and a half, maybe. I don't know if he'll play tomorrow against the Pistons or this weekend again. They've got a back-to-back Minnesota, Oklahoma City. Maybe he's available against OKC to give one of the other guys, a breather. It feels like they're moving in that direction. The reason I say that is every time we talk to Budenholzer, he sort of mentions, he's working now with the coaching groups, or, he's getting a little more contact. So it feels like, Bill, it's coming up here in the next week and a half.
I know Budenholzer has talked about, the process quite a bit. I listened to a lot of his pressers and such, and, it really has been, it's kind of like the same old, but better. Last year I thought it was a very short off season after the championship, and maybe there's a little bit of a hangover. They looked tired. They looked lethargic. It looked like they were trying to get themselves energized. This year they came back, and it seems like they went through the process because they know what it takes to go through an entire season. They went through the process of the preseason, but it seems like they've just come out energized. Is that a good way to put it, watching this team play?
Yeah, I think so. There's two elements to that. It's the fact they were off from mid-May to the end of September. Think about this Bucks team, Bill. They haven't had that since before the pandemic. So it's several years. It's a lot of basketball that built up on guys who are now in their 30s, particularly Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. Now, we haven't seen Middleton yet, but even Pat, he told me when I saw him in Charleston this summer that his legs feel as good as they felt. And I don't think that's sort of player speak, because I think Drew Holiday, his shot's not going in, but he looks crisp, right? Brook Lopez looks as good as he has. Now, Giannis obviously had a hard summer. So I think maybe we're seeing that toll that it took as he's trying to get himself back. But to your point, yes, I do feel like there's a chip on their shoulder from the way they lost against Boston. They feel they were the better team and just couldn't get it done. Now, you mentioned Budenholzer. Look, I'll remember, Bill, we would be on, what about adjustments from Mike Budenholzer? What about adjustments? Well, okay, there was an adjustment this year. Bucks fans, how many times, Bill, would they call into you and say, 25 threes, record-setting threes against the Bucks. They don't defend the three-point line. Well, this year, the emphasis was, guys, we can't do this anymore. We can't give up 25 made threes in a game. And guess what? Through 6 games, Bill, they are the best team in basketball at allowing threes, which means they're fewer, at allowing made threes. And you still got Brook Lopez, Giannis, Serge Ibaka defending the rim. So it is better. For as good as the Bucks defense has been since Mike Budenholzer arrived, this opening stretch, you could argue from front to back is the best it's ever been.
I still, to this day, I love the energy Bobby Portis brings. I know last year there seemed to be something missing, and I thought it was the tenacity of a guy like PJ Tucker, who they let get out the door, because I thought he brought something to the locker room that's that intangible. Has Bobby Portis picked that up this year?
I mean, Bobby's definitely that guy, right? And it's not just the chance that comes in. It is just that energy. I mean, Dwayne Casey of the Pistons, Bill called him the spiritual leader of the team, in the sense of when he hits the court, it's like a revival in Fiserv Forum.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think it's two different things slightly, though, when you mention PJ, because Bobby, for as good as he's gotten defensively, as much as he's improved in 3 years, PJ had a different way about him as a defender. I think Wes Matthews has that, but Wes isn't as big. So I think that sort of individual defensive intensity is still probably missing. But the collective, Bill, to what we were just talking about, I think the collective energy, the collective sort of chip on the shoulder and wanting to just get up in people, and the fact that Budenholzer wants them to do that now. Like, really, PJ, Bill, if you think about it, go back to that title run. Like, yeah, Kevin Durant was putting 40 on him every night because he's Kevin Durant. But PJ was up in his business. He was the only one doing that. Whereas now, I think Bud has said, Drew, do it. Javon Carter, do it. Wesley Matthews, do it. George Hill, do it. Grayson Allen, like, to the degree that those guys can. And I think that's maybe making up for what they were missing with PJ last year.
Real quick, around the rest of the conference, we'll say, but, is Cleveland for real? I mean, where they're off to a 5-1 start. I know they got Boston coming up, but are they for real? I mean, with Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen, Robin Lopez on the backup, Kevin Love, is this a team that just has enough veteran prowess on it that they're actually for real, or is this just kind of a paper tiger at this point out of the chute?
No, they're for real, Bill. And they're a team that wants to win regular season games. It's going to be important to them. They haven't made a playoff since LeBron James was in town. I think they've only done it a couple times without LeBron. You're going back to like the Mark Price years. So it's important to them to win. And you know this. If it's important for an NBA team to win regular season games, chances are you're going to win a handful when other teams are resting their guys. But that's not to say they're not talented. I think Bucks fans need to remember, before Ricky Rubio got hurt, the Cavs put it on the Bucks. I mean, they beat them up a couple times, and now they've added Donovan Mitchell. And, yeah, no, they're for real, Bill. They could be a top 3-4 seed. I don't know if they have enough to beat a Milwaukee or Boston in a 7-game series. But, yes, expect to see them at or around the top of the East the rest of the season.
Is Boston, Toronto, I'm trying to think, Atlanta, Philadelphia, who are the real contenders right now over the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, Boston, I think, did it right, Bill, in terms of handling the coaching situation rather than letting that go as long as maybe they could have. they sort of handled it right before camp and reset the situation there. And Boston's going to be in it, Bill. I think Jason Tatum's going to be in the MVP conversation. I don't know if their current coach can sort of game plan an in-game coach like Ime Udoka can. That's to be determined. Boston will stick around, yes. I do like Atlanta. I think they're a team that's going to take a little more time to figure things out with DeJounte Murray, Trae Young. I don't think we'll see them in that play-in scenario like they were a year ago, where they maybe had that Eastern Conference hangover. Philly, I think they'll get there, Bill, because, again, it's important for them to win regular season games, but it's all about Joel. If this plantar fasciitis that Doc just sort of revealed after they played the Bucks, if that's a lingering problem, I don't know how far they go, because for James can be good and PJ can be good, Joel's the engine. And if he can't play or if he's not healthy, so my gut, Bill, says they're at the top of the East, like in the top 4. But I got to say, if Joel's limping around, that's going to be tough for them.
Hey, real quick before I let you go, one more, and that's going out to the Western Conference. Look, I know we haven't seen a lot of Western Conference basketball, short of on TV lately, but Phoenix obviously back. Portland sitting there at 5-1. I got to admit, I feel great that the Lakers suck, but I feel bad for Darvin Ham because I really like Darvin Ham. Have you had any communication with him since he left?
No, I did not get out to Summer League, but I think he knew what he was walking into, you know. And I think that's why the Lakers hired him, and we'll see. I mean, those are some dynamic personalities he hasn't had to deal with since he's become a coach, frankly, with Atlanta and under Mike Budenholzer back then. So if there's a guy who can do it, I think Darvin is the guy. But you're right, you know, out west, look, Kawhi Leonard's going to miss his 4th straight game with that knee. You know, I don't know, Bill. The NBA is going to be really – there's a lot of off-court issues I think they need to settle. But on the court, you know, it's still going to be just as interesting.
Right. Great stuff, Jim. I know your time's valuable, buddy. I appreciate it. We'll talk again soon, okay?
All right. Thanks so much, Bill. Talk to you soon.
You bet. Yeah, there you go. Jim Ozarski talking about a winning franchise, that being the Milwaukee Bucks. Undefeated, the only undefeated team in the National Basketball Association right now. Bucks now sitting at 6-0, got a win last night over Detroit. Had to fight hard. I mean, the Pistons came into that game at 2-5, and they gave them everything they had. It took a Drew Holiday bucket down the stretch as I sat there and watched the end of that game last night, and a couple of defensive plays, one by Brook Lopez, one by Giannis, a couple of passing the basketball moments, but they ultimately walked away with a win. So, hey, a win's a win, and that's all you need to do. So there you go. Bucks get the win, and they remain undefeated. Good stuff from our buddy Jim. We'll get back into the Packers. It's NFL draft or NFL trade deadline day. Will anything happen? Big news coming out of Green Bay. Jordy and Josh Sitton are going to be inducted into the Packers Hall of Fame. Big news coming out of Green Bay today. Both guys very much deserving, though, by the way. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Hey, if you have water in your home and you require a water softening system, which many of us do, the best out there, the Connecticut water softening system. Talk to my buddy John Atley and the gang over at the Water Doctors. Go to H2doctors.com. That is H2doctors.com and see for yourself what I've been telling you about. That is the Connecticut water softening system. It is absolutely, positively the best. I've had it in my home, in 3 different homes now, because I keep taking it with me. It's just that good. And the water has zero taste, incredibly refreshing. My clothes and such are very clean when I get them out of the washer, and the shower heads alone. Lost all the calcium deposits when I moved into the house, and I put the Connecticut water softening system in, and it's been awesome ever since. Call them 262-549-7733, 262-549-7733. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Cool weather, brisk winds, and a hot deal. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Is your home ready for winter weather? Don't wait. Right now, put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 2 years. When it's cold outside, thanks to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, you'll be warm and toasty inside. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin can be installed in as little as a day, with little to no disruption to your family or your home. Plus, you'll get expert advice from our Pella specialists, professional installation by Pella's certified installers, and the excellent service our customers have come to expect. And Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin has products and warranty offers you won't find anywhere else. Don't wait for the heating bills to start piling up. Right now, put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 2 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Expires 11/30/2022. Certain exclusions and restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Yeah, we've been having those conversations for weeks now, and it really comes down to opportunity. If the right opportunity presents itself, I know that Goody's all on board of trying to upgrade our roster. You're always trying to do that, but we're not going to just do a silly deal.
No, silly deals. Nah, not happening. Not happening. 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. Packers were hoping they make a silly deal of some type just to do something. Hey, by the way, don't forget, coming up tomorrow night, brought to you by Bud Light, we're going to be down at the Mecca. It should be a fun time tomorrow night. You know why? Because the Bucks play tomorrow night as well. We'll get down there early, get all set up. You've got the huddle going on from 6 till 8 tomorrow night. Bucks get underway. They've got that back-to-back with the Pistons at the Fiserv Forum. They played the Pistons last night. They got them again tomorrow night. 7 o'clock tip time down at the Fiserv. And we're going to be down there kind of hanging out. And if you're going to be if you're not heading to the Mecca and you're looking for really, really good Italian food, don't forget about our friends over at San Giorgio and Calderone Club. Maybe even after. Maybe you go into the Mecca early, you get, I don't know, maybe an appetizer or something, hang out with us a while. And then after the game, you go over to San Giorgio or Calderone Club, get yourself a good meal, good pizzas, really good, authentic Italian Napolitana pizzas. Good stuff. They pair it up with cider boys. Oh, it's a good night. It's a good night. I don't care who you are. So hopefully we see you tomorrow night. And then afterwards, make it San Giorgio, Calderone Club. You're all good to go heading downtown after the fact. Hopefully after a Bucks win, too. Really good stuff. 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. Let's go back to the phone calls. Talk to Bill listening to us in Green Bay. Bill, how you doing today, man? What's up?
I'm doing really well. You've forgotten Milk Duds on your list of top 5 for old guys. But anyway, I digress.
Perfect.
Hey, man, you're going to be persona non grata number 1 at 1265, and I applaud you for that. The problem clearly is Murphy. His 3 worst decisions ever were not removing Ted Thompson, creating the silo structure where everybody reports to him, and there was a third one there. I can't think of it right off. The long and the short of it is there's a coaching problem in Green Bay, and there has been. And, you mentioned the Orlovsky article. Pardon me, COVID recovery. You mentioned the Orlovsky article, and the reality of it is it coaching or is it talent evaluation? Well, at this point, since the talent's here, change the coaching. Let's find out. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty convinced the end of this season, number 12, number 69, give 1265 the big middle finger, and it's rebuild from ground up.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Love the show.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. When you talk about coaching, I think we were specifically talking about the defensive side of things. Just an FYI. Oh, we do have breaking news. Do we have some? You got a breaking news? Uh-oh. We've got a trade. We've got a trade. Does it involve the Packers? Ben?
Oh, I thought you were gonna take the honor.
No, go ahead. I just saw it. You're our breaking news guy, man. Does it involve the Packers?
According to Adam Schefter, the Detroit Lions are dealing tight end TJ Hawkinson to the Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings are making a deal. There you go. Vikings making a deal. That's a silly trade. It's a silly trade. Silly. Okay. There you go. Yep. Smoke them if you got them. Yes. Oh, God. Oh, somebody run quick. Give me a change of pants. Oh, my goodness. There you go.
Why in the world are the Vikings trading Hawkinson or the Lions in division?
No idea. The Vikings have been effed up for a while, but what do they get in return?
Minnesota is sending a 2023 second, a 2024 third for Hawkinson, and 2 fours.
Really? Hawkinson got that much, huh? Man. Well, there you go. But the Lions need help in a lot of different areas. And for the Lions, it is long-term. It is about getting additional draft choices. It is about getting, to borrow the David Stearns comment, more bites at the apple, at that draft apple. It's about getting more bites there. While the Packers, it is about now. And Donna says, the Packers can always be a franchise that moves forward and continues to stockpile talent. That's what they've always done. Why do we want to change now? Donna, and that's a great question. That's a great question, okay? And I was watching this morning, and I will give credit where credit is due. I never thought much of him as a player. I thought he was incredibly talented, but got way too into himself. RG3 over on Get Up this morning. And when everybody else is talking about the longevity of draft choices and what to give up and what not to give up, and, you got to let the draft choices see if they've actually, were good draft choices, meaning Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Samori Toure. You don't want to stunt their growth and such. And I understand all of that. Okay. You're right. It is about the future. But RG3 said exactly what is on the line. You didn't pay Aaron Rodgers he can't walk away from $50 million a year contract to grow guys for 3 and 4 years down the road. That's not what you did. You made a commitment in the here and the now to say, we're going for it. We've got a 2, maybe 3-year tops window. That's it. It's over. Right? That's it. You didn't do all of this to say 3 years down the road, you hope to be good. You didn't do all of this to think maybe he'll develop these guys so when Jordan Love eventually does take over, or whomever does, that they'll be good then. You brought them in because you wanted to make sure that you were ready to go, and you're pushing your chips to the middle of the table because this year and next year, it's all about winning. Right? It's all about winning. And if it's not about winning, then why'd you bring Aaron Rodgers back? If it's not about championship right here, right now, then why'd you bring him back? Why'd you pay that amount of money? Why don't you just move on and say, look, we'd rather get rid of him a couple of years too early than a couple of years too late. Then what are you doing? Right? 877-867-1670. Jeremy says Detroit just got a great deal from Minnesota. Unless, of course, Minnesota not only wins the division, but gets to a Super Bowl. Then Minnesota got a great steal. If Hawkinson is part of that, got a great steal from Detroit within the division.
Oh, but now the Packers don't have to play Hawkinson on Sunday. That's enough of a deadline.
Right? By the way, here's another piece of breaking news. Hawkinson was on my fantasy team.
Oh, God.
I was eliminated last night in my guillotine league. I made it through half the season. I'm happy about that. I will say this. I tried to make a couple of trades, couldn't make them, and tried to make a couple of acquisitions, and I didn't get a chance to pull the trigger. I ended up doing other stuff on Saturday, and Sunday morning I got distracted, and I didn't set my lineup right, and I screwed myself. So it's completely my fault.
wet last night.
Yeah, I was wet last night. It was completely my fault. But Ben, my season is now over. So all of that insightful fantasy talk for my personal team is now gone, and I know you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I sit here hiding a smile. But I'm not on video, so no one will ever know.
Right? We got to get you on camera too. We got to get you all streamed up before it's all said and done.
Face for radio, Bill.
Yeah,
There's a reason I'm in this business.
Yeah, shave your ass and walk backwards. Who cares? Doing what Detroit just did, trade pieces for picks. Somebody needs to do something. Jeff says, can somebody please just call the phone inside 1265 to see if it works? Mark says, do you know Goody's private phone number? We'll just give him a buzz to see if he's actually on it. Kelsey says, again, the Green Bay Packers asleep at the wheel. Watch the Minnesota Vikings pass us by. Let's see here. Jeremy says Vikings have done more in their 1-6-1 window than Green Bay has done in their 30-year window. Bruce says you're spot on. Why in the hell did they pay Rodgers all this money if they weren't going to give him the talent to win now? I don't know. Tyler says also, I hate the Vikings. I understand that. By the way, the Green Bay Packers odds now, and I'm going to do this just as one final nudge, if anybody inside the walls at 1265 are listening. The Packers, at the beginning of the season, started the season coming out of February 14th, 2022. The Green Bay Packers, 16-1 odds to get back to and win a Super Bowl. 16-1. After they ended up getting beat early on, well, then again, when they made the deals, they were 8-1, 8-1, 8-1, 10-1. And then after the opening weekend, they went to 12-1. Then they got a win. They were 14-1, 19-2, 12-1, 14-1. And then the last 3 weeks, they've gone from 20-1, 35-1. They are now 60-1 to win a Super Bowl. Just an FYI. Just thought I'd throw it out there for you. Tyler says, beautiful weather. Goody's probably out golfing today and not answering the phone. It's thrown in the front of the golf cart. God, I hope not. Oh, my goodness. Great stuff from you guys and girls, for that matter. And thanks to Donna for shooting us an email as well. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Burn Pit BBQ. They are veteran-owned. They're in our backyard right here in Racine, Wisconsin. Go to burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com. Great guys, veteran-owned, startup business, just a couple of years in the making, and they have been wildly successful, and it's because of you, not to mention the fact that they have great sauces and great rubs. burnpitbbq.com. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Coming up tomorrow night, as a matter of fact. I'm going to be out there late after I get off the air from the huddle. Going to be heading out to La Crosse. I'll be in La Crosse all day on Thursday. I've got so I'll be off the air on Thursday, but I've got some meetings and I've got an event day at Quick Trip. Quick Trip does this open. If you've never been to the Quick Trip facility out in La Crosse, it's amazing. It's like a whole city, and so I'm going to be hanging out there. And while I'm there, I'm absolutely positively going to stop over to see my friends over at Buzzard Billy's, get a meal, stop up to the Starlight Lounge, get one martini cocktail before I head back to the room, all within walking distance, of course, right there downtown. So I'm looking forward to it. Heading over to Buzzard Billy's. Thanks to Buzzard Billy's for being a part of the program as well. Good people over there. Really good people. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. Give us a shout. Let's get back to the phone calls. Let's go to Bill listening to us in Green Bay. Bill, how you doing today, man? What's up? Nope, Bill's gone. Bill gone. Bill gone. By the way, Tyler says Buzzard Billy's amazing. There you go. The big news of the day out of the trade deadline so far, the Lions traded their tight end to the Vikings. Just so you know. Just so you know. This is from Sean. Sean says, do you really think that the Green Bay Packers are going to make a deal with so many holes that need to be filled? I don't feel that this team is even close to being ready, so why in the world would you make a trade now? Okay, why wouldn't you? You know, why wouldn't you? I mean, I just, I think why not? You could get a guy now. If you have him for another year, he already gets acclimated with your offense. It's one less spot that you would then have to fill going into the draft, of which you covet those draft choices. It's a guy that's a veteran that's already been in the league that can play. So even if this year doesn't work out and you don't make the run, you're already ahead of the game next year. You can continually fill the offensive line and defensive fronts if you need to and add depth and only get stronger. You already have Dobbs and Watson and Lazard. chances are Cobb won't be back, but, who knows what Aaron wants. Do you draft? Is Zach Tom the guy? Can you get better at the offensive line protection? Because certainly you would think that Bakhtiari's not going to be back. If you can get $6 million off the cap with all the problems he's had just getting back on the field after almost 2 years from being out. I mean, I do it in a heartbeat. I do it in a heartbeat. There's no reason not to. It can't hurt. What you're giving up is the unknown, and the unknown has not been that successful for the Packers to begin with. So I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. 877-867-1670. Let's go up to the Northwoods, the beautiful, loving Northwoods. I love it up in the Tomahawk area. Let's go up to Bob. Bob, welcome to the program, man. What's going on?
Bill, speaking of loving, I used to listen to you back in the old Green Bay days, and I'll tell you what, it's great to hear you once again. I couldn't be more thrilled.
Appreciate it, pal. Appreciate it. What you thinking up there?
Okay, but Bill, Packers want to, they supposedly build a team by the draft. Now listen to this stat. Maybe you can answer it. It's unbelievable. Guess how many players they have left from the 17 and 18 drafts combined?
3?
2.
2. Okay, I was off by 1.
17 was Thompson, 18 was Goody. Goody sucks. He doesn't know how to draft. So why are these draft picks so valuable if they can't even draft a decent player once in a while, especially third round? You might as well take every third round pick every year and give it away because they're never going to get anybody with that pick.
Yeah, third round has not been good, and I agree with you. Hopefully Sean Ryan pans out this year, but Amari Rodgers was your third rounder last year. Josiah DeGuara was before that. Jace Sternberger prior to that. Oren Burks prior to that. I mean, I can go through the list, and the third round draft choice not great.
How about Montrevious Adams?
Montrevious Adams too.
Stinks with him.
Yep.
Terrible. But before I leave, Billy, it's great to hear you. Now I can listen to you for 4 hours a day. Life's wonderful. Thanks, Billy.
Appreciate it, pal. If you go over to the radio station up there in the Northwoods, go over, I think it's WJJQ. Go over and give Greg a big hug. Greg went through a lot of tumultuous times trying to get us back on the air. So if you're up there in the Northwoods, you're driving by, go give Greg a hug. Ben, do you want to hear a quick story?
Yeah.
Okay, about humility. So when we first started the network at the old place I was at, which is now defunct and gone and blown up, because the minute I left, they lost their money and then they went out of business. So the first time we did a network, we started the network tour. Okay, and I got a call. I was going to do Tomahawk, and one of the FM guys up in Tomahawk, which is by the way the same station that we're currently on in Tomahawk, was like excited. He's like, "Man, I've been listening to you since '99, doing the Packers broadcast. I'd love to meet Bill Michaels." And you kind of think to yourself, "Well, that's kind of cool." Somebody's grown up listening to myself, Brian Noble doing the postgame show, and a lot of the Packers network stuff, and you kind of think that's kind of cool, right? So I through friends that heard that heard this guy talking about this on the air, they called me and said, "Hey, this guy would love to meet you. Boy, it's a big deal if you'd come up here and go meet him." I said, "Okay, I'll do it." So that morning, I got a hold of the guy and I said, "Hey, it's Bill Michaels. I'd love to, come in and say hello. I'll even, whatever you want me to do." He said, "I'd love to get you on the air with me for a couple of segments on my FM show." I said, "Okay, cool. I'm happy to do it." So I'm up in Tomahawk. I got a couple of days to myself. I'm just enjoying the Northwoods, listening to the fishing boats go by in the morning, and just this incredible piece. And I'm listening on the FM station saying, "Hey, you're not going to believe this. Bill Michaels is coming in. He is going to be on the air with us right here, live and in person. If you got a question for Bill regarding the Packers, the Brewers, the Bucks, whatever." I mean, it's this big deal, right? So I get in my car that morning. I wake up, and I'm not a coffee guy, but I went over to a local place, and I got a hot chocolate. So I get the hot chocolate. I'm fired up. I come driving up, and there's like 30 people outside of this small. Now, this is small town radio. And I don't mean to make fun of it. I'm just simply saying it's not a big building. It's not a conglomerate building. It's just a small standalone. So there's like 30 people out front and people are all standing there. And I'm like, look at all these people that came out to see me. This is so cool. You know? So I pulled up, I get out like, hi, Bill Michaels. Nice to see you. And they're like, shut up. Shh, there's a moose over there. They were outside to watch the moose. The moose leaves. Everybody left. They didn't. If I was on fire, they wouldn't have peed me out. Talk about your ego boost. That was right there. A kick to the beanbag. Right there. Going to the Northwoods. So always love Tomahawk because it's always a great, natural, fun, and humbling experience.
Yeah. No offense. I'm a big moose guy. I think I'd rather watch a moose walk by.
Yep.
No offense.
That's it. It was actually, the moose was pretty cool. I'll give you that.
It's a cool animal.
Yeah. They were like, shh, there's a moose over there. There's a moose. A big moose, too. Wasn't a small moose. Wasn't like, some little moose that just came out. It wasn't like Bullwinkle. I mean, this was full-fledged Bullwinkle. Big old moose. Yeah, they're like, shh, there's a moose over there. We don't care who you are. So, oh, my goodness. Let's do this. We're going to step out, take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get back into it, take more of your phone calls. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Growth Law, GROTH, growthlawfirm.com, GROTH, protecting bikers' rights all throughout the great state of Wisconsin and beyond the borders. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Now, in Green Bay, here's Mike Clemens.
The Packers head back to the practice field tomorrow to get ready for a road trip to Detroit. Head coach Matt LaFleur says the game plan for Buffalo Sunday night was to feature rookie receiver Christian Watson in a number of deep pass plays. But Watson was nearly knocked out on a helmet-to-helmet collision after his first and only reception in the game. Matt LaFleur.
I know he was disappointed post-game when I talked to him in the locker room, but I thought overall, he seemed to be in relatively a good state of mind, if that makes any sense.
The Packers have now lost 4 in a row, including losses to the Jets and the Commanders. What was the difference in losing to the Bills and quarterback Josh Allen? Packers outside linebacker Preston Smith.
We lost to the number 1 team in the NFL. It was a close game. It's a lot of good things we put on tape, and it's a lot of good things we can learn from. And we fixed our mistakes and made sure that we came out and played more better in the second half. And we was conscious of our rush lanes and not let him get out the pocket and using his legs to make plays and force him to stay in the pocket and throw and try to get him an uncomfortable pocket. It's a lot of things we can we put on tape that we got to learn from and fix to make sure we don't make those mistakes going forward.
Up next, the Packers face the Lions at Ford Field, who lost another heartbreaker at home, this time to the Miami Dolphins. The Lions blew a 27-17 halftime lead to Miami to fall 1-6, losing now 5 in a row. Quarterback Jared Goff.
It's really hard. Typically all these games are going to be one score, right? And the teams that have the good records right now are on the right side of that, and the teams that don't aren't, and we've been on the wrong side of it. We scored 27 in the first half, and how do we make that to 40 in the second half or 40 more, whatever it needs to be. Our defense, I thought, was doing a pretty good job, and we need to find a way to score one more touchdown and maybe a different game.
That's Lions quarterback Jared Goff. In Green Bay, I'm Mike Clemens on The Bill Michaels Show.
Coming up in a week, I believe. I think it's next weekend. They've got a meat raffle that's going on, benefiting the Badgerland ski team out of Curly's Waterfront Pub and Grill. Going to be out there for sure and supporting the ski team. It's kids, it's older people. They have a great time doing it. They put on these free shows out on Pewaukee Lake and really all over the area. But it's so much fun, and they've done so many cool things. But the only way that they survive is through fundraisers like this. So if you're going to be out and about next week, don't forget about Curly's Waterfront Pub and Grill and the meat raffle going on out there. And it benefits the Badgerland ski team. So looking forward to that. 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. There's a piece in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. And I get it because everybody's sending it to me. It talks about all the different seasons that were bad. It starts with the 9-9 or the 8-8 season back in 1999. That was the first year I was here. It was covering Ray Rhodes. It was a pick that they thought would put him over the top. Ray, as hard as he worked as a defensive coordinator, he just wasn't organizationally as good as a head coach. So after an 8-8 season, they let him go. 2009, Mike Sherman's first year at the helm. 9-7. I get that. Yeah, it goes through the whole list. And then I'm getting it hasn't been the same since Ron Wolf left. Ron Wolf, and I'm going to say this just to remind you, okay? Ron Wolf and I have had a lot of conversations over time. A lot of conversations. In studio, out of studio, sitting next to one another, whether it's on a plane or in a terminal or at Lambeau. And there has never been a time that we've had conversations in regards to football, into what was, to what then was, to what could have been, to what is to be. There is never a time that he has not said, I didn't do enough to get enough weapons for the quarterback. You can talk about everything else, bringing in Reggie, finding that other leader opposite Brett Favre to lead a defense, bringing him in. You know, what Ted did in bringing in Charles Woodson to be that leader on the opposite side of the ball. To have Brett, to then bring in Aaron Rodgers, to have a guy that would have been a future Hall of Famer like a Nick Collins, you got to anchor up the middle, you got to get it. They went out and got a Ryan Pickett, and then they brought in B.J. Raji to learn from Pickett, and then they had that middle set, and all that stuff. But they had to have weapons, and that's when you had Greg, and you had Jordy, and you had James, and you had Jermichael, and you can go and Donald, and go through the list. They had those guys. You had to get enough weapons for the quarterback to be successful. And then you added in a run game. In a passing offense, in a passing league, you added in a run game. Okay. which is why I sit here today and people say, well, it hasn't been the same since Ron Wolf left. Ron Wolf got the back-to-back Super Bowls. First one they won, second one they should have won, and they rolled the helmets out there thinking they were going to win, and they got their ass handed to them by John Elway and company. They didn't get back since. They didn't make enough moves, according to Ron Wolf, to put them over the top to fortify the offense in a passing league. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, history will never change. History will never change. You're going to continue to beat your head against the wall, and you're going to have 30-plus years of Hall of Fame quarterback play, and you're going to have 2 Super Bowls. Because you build it up, you got him in a rookie deal, you did it right, you put pieces around him, you gave him the weapons, and he won. The quarterbacks make the money, you kind of skimp on everything else. You say, well, the quarterback's making all the money, he should be the one to go out and do everything. He can't catch his own passes. You start to falter in other areas, but you're paying this guy $50 million. And you're throwing to what? You're throwing to what? Like I said, you got a brand new, beautiful, unbelievable with every option on it Corvette sitting right there in the driveway. Oh, damn that thing. Brand new body style. It looks sleek. It looks mean. It's awesome. And you're running in an old Chevy-ass Chevette 4-cylinder motor. That ain't getting you anywhere. That's what you built. Two hours down, 2 hours yet to go. By the way, the Nets have just fired Steve Nash. Kyrie Irving is an absolute idiot. Doubled down on the anti-Semitic comments and link that he posted. The organization is now taking heat. They send Steve Nash, not Kyrie, out to the Wolves. Steve Nash says we'll learn from this, and all he learned was Kyrie can do whatever the hell he wants. The league, the Nets, nobody's ever going to do anything to him because he's an idiot. So fire Steve Nash. Just saying, man, I'm fired up today. Woo! More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the NFL trade deadline coming up at 3 p.m. today, sitting at 3-5. Many want the Packers to make a move. Coach Matt LaFleur says there have been talks with GM Brian Gutekunst.
Yeah, we've been having those conversations for weeks now, and it really comes down to opportunity. If the right opportunity presents itself, I know that Goody's all on board of trying to upgrade our roster. You're always trying to do that, but we're not going to just do a silly deal.
Well, in addition is what most people think would happen. LaFleur was asked if the team might be sellers.
I hope not. But, you never know.
Packers won't practice today, but will get back out there tomorrow to start prepping for a trip to Detroit. It's unlikely that linebacker Devondre Campbell will be out there. He's dealing with a knee injury. LaFleur said he didn't think it would be a long-term issue, but wasn't sure if he would go this week against the Lions. Turning to the Badgers, safety John Torchio has been named a semifinalist for the Bednarik Award. That goes to the top defensive player in the country. Torchio, second on the Badgers in tackles, tied for the lead in the country with 5 interceptions. He's also returned a pair of those for touchdowns. Badgers going to take on Maryland this Saturday.
Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Get insurance from a company who knows Wisconsin and cares about your community. You may know Rural Mutual Insurance as the #1 farm insurer, but did you know they also offer competitive home and auto rates? Visit ruralmutual.com to learn more about products and discounts.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Bucks are 6-0 for the first time since 2018. That's after a 110-108 win over the Pistons last night. Drew Holiday hit a go-ahead three-pointer in the final minute. He finished with 25 points, 10 assists. Milwaukee going to face the Pistons again tomorrow night. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
Welcome back. Good to have you on this trade deadline day. The big news, 2 of them. The Lions send their tight end, TJ Hockenson, over to the Vikings. In other big news regarding the Green Bay Packers, Jordy Nelson and Josh Sitton are going into the Hall of Fame. There you have it. Whew. Thank God I brought an extra pair of pants today. Looking forward to all of this. Yeah. How are we looking? Welcome back to the program. Let's bring him in now, which I'm sure he's standing by with a change of pants himself as he covers the Green Bay Packers for Sports Illustrated. Our buddy Bill Huber's here. Bill, how you doing?
That's really funny. No, I am not at the ready. I should probably go grab some before after the segment's over.
Just in case. It could happen
you
at
never
any
know.
moment. Yeah. You tell me, first of all, I think if you pay $50 million a year to a quarterback, it says you're going all in. Why would you not try to fortify this team, not only this year, but for maybe another year to come? Because you only have a couple of years left with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. They went, people aren't. This is more all in as they're going to get, right? I mean, they are way over next year's cap because of all the financial, maneuvering to get underneath this year's cap. They signed guys in free agency. They re-signed. They spent big money to re-sign some guys on defense. These guys are built to win now, and the minute Aaron Rodgers walks out the door, that's over. And I realize that they're 3-5, and maybe it's over now, but to me, you just can't give up on the season. I realize the record. I get all of it, but if you stick all the chips in the middle to win one more with Aaron Rodgers, if you don't, that means you're not, right? And the minute he's out the door, again, I realize he hasn't played well, but the minute he's out the door, forget about it, right?
Right.
I mean, what has Jordan Love shown you that he's going to be the next skyline to keep 3 decades of winning into 4? Like nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. I don't understand what they're hanging on to. I mean, I don't want to knock Goody, but the draft choices specifically in the 2s and 3s have not been great. If you can find a proven wide receiver, it can't hurt at this point. I mean, I understand the defense has been somewhat of a disappointment, but what was the message that Matt LaFleur sent, in your opinion, when he says we're not going to make a silly deal?
That he and Goody have been talking about. I mean, look, they talk all the time anyway, but I think it means that they've talked, and LaFleur might want something, and Goody's saying, hey, I'm not going to give up, 5 first-round picks for some Joe Schmo. I'm to exaggerate to make a point. So they needed to make a move, but they're not going to, mortgage the future any further than they already have with all the financial stuff. So I think they'll do something. We'll see. But I'd bet $1. I wouldn't bet $2. I would bet $1 that they'll do something here in the next couple hours.
If they do you think it's a big deal? Do you think it's a Cooks? Do you think it's a bigger name that's coming in, or do you think it's one of these lesser than, impressive type deals?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure they would love, Chase Claypool. He's, just from his size and speed and usage, he does fit what Green Bay wants to do. And he's young. He's under contract in the future. It's not a 1-year rental. Someone mentioned AJ Green the other day. It's like, they're not going to trade for AJ. Can get the hell out of here. So that would make some sense, I think. But as long as the guy is a real deep threat, right? As long as when he's on the field, Valdez Scantling wasn't a great player, but the minute he was out there, defenses knew he was out there and had to play accordingly. If they can get somebody like that, the defenses have to fear. I do think it opens up some underneath spaces. Right now, without a deep threat, it's just so hard. It's just so hard to get anything underneath because defenses just don't think the Packers are going to do it because they can't.
I don't know what to make of I saw Dan Orlovsky's tweet today and says 3,003 snaps with first and second rounders, the most of any team in the National Football League, and yet it's one of the worst defenses and it's completely underperformed. Is it an estimation of talent, or is it coaching, Bill?
Yeah, it's probably everything. These one or the other things probably never one or the other. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to point to coaching, right? Because we don't know. Is the game plan great and they're just screwing things up? Is the game plan great, but somehow the message isn't getting across from Jerry Gray? Or is the talent overrated? I got into this yesterday in a story on the site. They bet that Devondre Campbell and Rasul Douglas weren't one-year wonders, right? They were one-year wonders. And they bet that they weren't by signing them to pretty big deals. Now, I get it. If you were trying to win a Super Bowl, you're not any better by having to go draft another linebacker. You're not any better by having to draft another corner, right? So I totally understand paying those guys. But even Goody must have thought, man, oh man, this is a gamble because what had Rasul Douglas ever done? All of a sudden he intercepts 5 passes. Devondre Campbell was a reliable starter, but he was never like a Pro Bowl guy, let alone first team All-Pro. So I'm sure even he was aware of that. So what are you going to do, right? You got to sign him. So maybe we're just all overvaluing who they have. I mean, that could be it.
Man, that's a great question because Rasul Douglas said he played so loose and played free, and Devondre Campbell said he loved the freedom that Joe Barry gave him. And, are they trying to overcompensate for guys that aren't as good? I mean, did they overestimate and overpay for Jair? I mean, why did Stokes drop off so bad? Part of me wants to say it's just maybe they're using these guys in a position that they shouldn't be used in because now they have all the weapons together.
Yeah, that could be. And, something else, too, is I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if this is a big factor or not, or if this is just kind of standard operating procedure. But Jair wants to play man. Stokes wants to play man. Douglas wants to play zone. And I'm not bad-mouthing those guys. Don't take it the wrong way. But you have your strengths, right? So however you line up, if you're Joe Barry, you're not really playing into the hands of Jair Alexander if you go zone, or you're not playing into Rasul Douglas's hands if you go man. I mean, just the way it is. Again, I don't know if that's kind of the way it is around the league, or if that's an issue too. It's probably something I'm going to mention to Barry on Thursday. So I thought about it last night. But man, it's mystifying. I semi-jokingly said before the season, if they don't finish in the top 5 in points allowed, Joe Barry should be fired. They're 16th right now.
Right. I would agree. I know they're not going to it's funny because they talk about making a trade and it's hemming and hawing and silly deals and this, but the minute he's asked about Joe Barry, it's like, no, Joe's not going anywhere. Are you crazy? And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. I don't understand playing 10 yards off the ball when it's a 3rd and 6. I don't understand why you don't have guys playing man when they want to. I don't, it sounds like guys are saying, dude, we need to play this way. And the coaches aren't listening. Certainly I would consider firing that coach at this point, right?
I mean, it does help that Jerry Gray's here, right? I mean, he's been a defensive coordinator, a pretty decent one too.
Right.
So I think that does help you out. But again, I don't know. Maybe LaFleur's watching the same thing or watching the film and thinking, man, these guys just aren't executing. I almost said a bad word. Executing crap, and it's not the defensive coordinator's fault. I have no idea, and we'll never know those behind closed doors conversations, right? But they talk all the time, whether it's LaFleur looking at Barry's defense through the prism of the opposing, of the offensive coordinator, or the other way around. So it's not like they're not talking. It is mystifying though, as far as here's this here too, Bill, is why do we think they're going to be great? We thought they're going to be great based on last year's playoff game, which was against Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
We thought they're going to be great based on how they kicked the Packers' butts in training camp against an offense that's 26th in scoring. So maybe our expectations are just out of whack because their quote-unquote big victories were against crappy units.
The offense, we finally had seen them run the football, but Aaron Rodgers had talked about, the ability to run, and then he said, manage the game, and we know Aaron picks and chooses his words carefully. Because I thought to myself, the minute he said that, I thought, this is a guy saying you paid me $50 million to manage a game. Really? Is this where we're at? Do you think he's also pining for them to make a deal?
Well, I'm sure. I kind of asked him that after the Jets game. Look, they could get to the playoffs with this group, right? I mean, they could go 9-8, 10-7, get to the playoffs. Well, I mean, who cares? I mean, they go to the playoffs all the time. Maybe this is Rodgers last year, right? Maybe it's next year. I mean, he knows the clock's winding down, and playoff appearances are great, but he's trying to win a Super Bowl. He's running out of time to get that done. Of course he wants something done. Who wouldn't, right? I mean, any quarterback would want something done. The game manager stuff, I don't know. I mean, I think even he was probably realistic last week, especially when Watson goes down, that your receivers are Sammy Watkins, Romeo Doubs, Amari Rodgers, and Samori Toure, 2 of those guys who never play. I mean, I'm sure he understood last week what they were doing. I mean, you can't go throw the ball 40 times a game with that group.
Right. Let me ask you this. When you talk about the group, let's just say you get Lazard back, you get Cobb back, you get Watson back. Is it even with everybody in your full complement, it's still not a good group, right?
No, it's not. The only hope, and I mean, gosh, I've said this since August, is the only hope is Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson become difference makers down the stretch. You stay afloat long enough where you can make a run because those guys become forces. Now, every time that Watson gets hurt, and look, I don't want to hear that he's fragile. The guy took a wicked shot the other day, but he's going to be out again, right? It's the guy's development here has just been thrown for one loss after another. So at the end of the day, it's going to be up to those guys because we know what they have in Lazard and Watkins and Cobb, right? They're all decent complementary guys, but if you need to run your passing offense through it, look, I've said this 58 different times, going back to August. Who heck back to when they traded Adams on 3rd and 10 against a really good defense in a big moment in the big game? Who gets open? That question hasn't changed.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah. And I think it was stated very obviously that in the 2-minute hurry up, they would look lost. Collinsworth was dead on.
It's guys who don't do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many minutes on the practice field every week, and you're not burning those minutes running a 2-minute drill with Amaya Rodgers out there, right?
Right.
You're counting on those guys to hopefully know what they're doing, but until you're in that moment, it's hard. So, yeah, it was an awful 2-minute drill, but shoot, what the hell are you going to do, right?
Right. Hey, before I let you go, by the way, we're talking with Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated. You can find him at Bill Huber SI over on Twitter. So what does the offensive line look like in your eyes right now? Because it has been every time I see a play that just doesn't work, somebody's missing something. This was supposed to be a group that we thought was going to be really, really good. Can you just look at it and say, guys haven't played together, guys haven't been stable, they've been moving them around all season, and this is the result? Or do you think there's something else there?
No, it's the first one. It's a good group. You got to play together. I mean, McCarthy said that time after time after time. The best Lions are the Lions that play together. And then they just haven't done it. So we'll see what happens this week if Elton Jenkins' foot injury is a big deal. And, Bakhtiari can string together another bunch of starts here. I mean, God, he was really, of all the guys on offense, him and Aaron Jones were far and away the best guys on Sunday. So if you can just get Bakhtiari out there playing at that level every week, and if Elton Jenkins gets past whatever's wrong with him foot-wise and can get back to his usual level, your left side's really good. You can go help the right side. You'll be all right.
One more thing before I let you go. We talk about special teams getting better. Rich Bisaccia certainly has made this group better. They're not great yet. But overall, have you, at least in that area, we've seen some improvement, correct?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the first few games were pretty darn fantastic, really. But then, then there's a block punt. You have a couple longish kick returns. There's a bad snap on Crosby's field goal the other night. God, you can't. These guys, there's just no margin for error, and you can't give giving away yards or muffing punts. So is it better? Yeah, probably. But man, there's only one way to go but up. So they got to get back going. They have to get trending back the right way because these last couple of games have not been real good.
We are now sitting just more than a few hours away from the trade deadline. Bill, do you think they make a move?
Yeah, I think so. Would have been a lot of money on it, but I do think they'll do something. It's Goody pushed so many chips to the middle of the table, and if you don't do anything, it's like kind of like the white flag of surrender. At least in past years, they had the excuse of, "Hey, we're really good. We think this team is good enough." Well, this team isn't. So I think the pressure's on to do something. I think they will. It might not blow anybody's socks off, or maybe it will. But I think there's a realization they have to do something.
I think it really, just myself speaking, I hope it knocks my socks off. I would love to eat my words from earlier today. Would absolutely love it. Bill, great stuff as always, buddy. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, take care. Appreciate it.
There you go. Bill Huber, Sports Illustrated, joining us for a couple of minutes. You can find his stuff at Bill Huber, HUBERSI, at Bill Huber SI, over on Twitter. Great stuff. He thinks they're going to make a move. Otherwise, what are you doing?
Bill, I have an update.
Yeah, go ahead. What do we got?
This does not warrant any breaking news sounder, but people at Texans practice are saying that Brandon Cooks is nowhere to be seen.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So
Do you
I
think
guess
he's
I'll go
putting a
check.
cheese head on?
Maybe the other teams that need a receiver are actually doing something. I don't know. Hard to say, but that is the situation we are monitoring.
Do we think he's getting fitted for a cheese head? That's where we're at right now. Think about it. I'm excited. I'm excited right now. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, do so. From what you just heard, give us your thoughts on all of this. It's one of those days. Cook's nowhere to be found in Houston. Is he getting fitted for a cheese head? Could it actually be happening? I would love it if it was. Hey, you know what I'm going to need after all of this? Whatever happens, I'm going to need a place to go, rest, relax, enjoy myself. Probably going to give my friends over there at Four Seasons Island Resort a call up in Pembine. And I love it up there. The leaves are pretty much gone, but think about this. The UTV, ATV trails still there, obviously. But we are not far away from eventually the cold weather hitting and the possibility of snow flying, and you get my drift, right? So eventually, we're all going to be heading up in that direction and taking the sleds out, enjoying ourselves. Great place to go. Indoor pool, indoor hot tub, big sauna, all that kind of stuff. So you go out, you ride all day, you come back, you warm up, you're good to go. Go down to the Boundary Waters Bar and Grill, watch the games, enjoy some food. They have great food in the diamond room. They've got really good food, wine tasting, cheeses, and all that kind of stuff in the upstairs lounge. And then you go downstairs and you hang out at Boundary Waters and you listen to some good music. And I got to tell you, there's been a couple of times I've listened to some music there, whether it was karaoke or some bands. They were so bad, they were good. It was a great time. I mean, people that couldn't hit a note. It was like Barney Fife on a bad day trying to sing Juanita. But it was just great. Had a great time. That is our friends at Four Seasons Island Resort. And the best part about it, you get 15% off just by listening to the program. I'll tell you how. Go to thefourseasonswisconsin.com. If you want to book a reservation, put in the promo code BillMichaels15. Or, easy enough, call our girl Barb, B-A-R-B. Call Barb right now, 715-324-5800. It's got some history to it, too. A little bit haunted. It's where all the mobsters used to go when they get out of Chicago and they'd hang out up there and everything. Kind of a historical place in that sense. You drive across that small bridge, you get onto the island, good to go. Good to go. That's our friends over there at the Four Seasons Island Resort. Call Barb, B-A-R-B, 715-324-5800. Tell her you heard it here. Or email her. It's that simple. B-A-R-B, Barb at thefourseasonswisconsin.com. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Best way to get a Packers game going? Give it some gas. Actually, give you some gas. It's the Quick Trip Opening Drive Sweepstakes. Win a $10 gas card for every yard earned on the Packers opening drive. 1 yard, $10. 50 yards, chug-a-lug for your vehicle. Oh, and if the Packers score on the opening drive, we'll throw you an extra $500. Just fuel up on Quick Trip's guaranteed gasolines. Use your Quick Rewards and you're entered. See QuickTrip.com/sweepstakes for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Hey, don't forget about our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Pella has, right now, great deal going on. And if you want 0 payments, 0 money down, 0 interest, 2 years, it's going on right now. The commercial, by the way, I finally saw the final product. I like it. I look horrible, but that's okay. Nobody watches the commercial for me anyway. You're looking for the doors and the installation and the process and such, but good stuff from Gina Della and our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. But they came by when I bought my final patio door for the house. They did the commercial, the installation and everything. You got to see a little bit of the house, not much, but a little bit. And that's really my house and that's really my door. I mean, it's no, Hollywood BS here. But 0 payments, 0 money down, 0 interest, 2 years right now. Make your home more economical. You know the cold winds are about to start blowing. You want to make sure that you're warm and toasty inside all throughout the winter months, and then you keep the heat out in the summer. And when you want to open the windows, you can open the windows without having problems, without them snapping out of position. You want to be able to open the patio door without having to use, 14 small people, plus a truck to be able to pull the door open. Plus, at night, when you put your head on your pillow, you want to be able to just toe kick that thing with that little pin that pops out, locks both doors into place. Nobody's coming in. It's that simple. Go to PellaWI.com, P-E-L-L-A, PellaWI.com, or call them 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA-WI. Ben, do we have breaking news?
Nope.
Oh, there you go.
What'd you expect?
Ben, the best in the business. He's succinct. Yeah. There you go.
I do have a clip of Mike McCarthy from years ago asking if the trade deadline was next week.
Yes. Let me hear it.
What's the trade deadline like around here yesterday? What's the trade deadline like around here? Is it a lot of conversation or just standard?
Is that what you guys? I thought it was next week. Well, that's what it's like.
Oh, my God. There you go. Thought it was next week. Had no clue. No clue. I love it. Here we are. 877-867-1670. By the way, Pac Fan says I did see the commercial. You didn't look that bad, Bill. Really? I didn't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Good stuff. I didn't think that it was that me personally. I didn't think that I looked that great, but maybe I do. Who knows? This is from Tyler, who said Cook's going to the Bears. The Brotherhood of Sports says Cook's going to the Bears. No. Can't imagine that. Let's go back to the phone calls. Let's go to Rod listening to us in La Crosse. Rod, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. I was just wondering, do you think the Packers might have too much pride to sit there and kind of offer Jordy Nelson maybe $1 million or $2 million until the end of the year, the end of the season? Because, he was always Rodgers' right-hand man, and he always seemed to catch the ball when times were down.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, Jordy has not been working out to play football. He's been hanging out on his farm, playing with his kids, and enjoying his life. I
live on a farm. And that's working out.
That is working out. That's not football working out, but I'll give you that because I only went to the farm on weekends and tried to throw a few hay bales around, and that takes something right there. I'll tell you that. I admire anybody that works on a farm. Heck yes, without a doubt. But I don't think Jordy's going to be back anytime soon.
What quick trip did you say you were going to be at? What day?
I'm coming into the Quick Trip City, if you will, in La Crosse. I'll be there on Thursday.
Okay, and what quick trip are you going to be at, or are you going to be at?
It's at the Quick Trip. It's at the main facility, the plant.
Oh, the main facility and the industrial park.
Yeah, that giant thing over there. What is that, near like Viterbo College in that area?
No, it's over by the marsh.
Oh yeah, there's not much there. It's just the marsh. You're right. Well, Viterbo though, they've got that baseball field over there that every now and then gets flooded out.
Yeah, that's the Viterbo baseball field. Yeah,
that's the Viterbo baseball field. Yes, but I'll be at the Quick Trip City on Thursday. So
okay,
sure.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. There you go. He drops off. You get on board. 877-867-1670. By the way, the Lions say we're not done. We're not done. They've let the league know they're willing to make deals at other positions, including defensive back. We're not done. We're taking as many draft choices as we can get. That's the Lions.
Packers might win on Sunday.
They could be without everybody. Packers now looking really good for a victory on Sunday. I'll tell you that right now. Cheers says Brandon Cooks has $18 million guaranteed, so he's not coming to Green Bay. Cheers, there is no way that many teams are going to be able to eat all of that. So if he does get traded, chances are Houston's paying quite a bit of that. Just an FYI. So say they get it down to where first of all, you're only getting them for half a season. So it goes from 18 down to 9. And then say if Houston pays 6 or 7 of that, then you're only paying them $2 million. So yes, you could. Just an FYI. Yes, you could. Gotta think. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. It's a crazy day. Colton just writes, he said, I just drove past Green Bay and Lambeau Field. I blew the horn really loud. Maybe that woke up Gutekunst. I'm going for a beer. I'll drive back just before the trade deadline and blow the horn again. That's all we need. People listening to the program, driving past Lambeau Field, blowing the horn. Maybe that's what you do, you know? Maybe you say, hey, we want something. You got people circling Lambeau, blowing the horn. It's you know,
annoying horn that they like to blow.
I know, right? It's annoying as hell. It's annoying. I know what he's talking about, too. That horn up there in Minnesota. Oh, my God. Oh, just terrible. Terrible. All right. Stay tuned. Got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Life's about taking the road less traveled, and doing it in style, well, that makes it even better. Take the Tahoe. This November, Potawatomi is giving away not one, but 2 Chevy Tahoes. Just play with your club card and you could win a brand new Chevy Tahoe or your share of over $400,000 in cash and prizes. Your win is waiting. Take the Tahoe. Only at Potawatomi. Visit paysbig.com/Tahoe for more. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Oh, my goodness. Are you ready to lose your damn mind? Are you ready to lose your damn mind? I'm oh, my God. Ben, do your thing.
You asked last break if I had an update. Now I actually do. Breaking news, Schefter Fieldgates, a lot of people. The Pittsburgh Steelers are trading wide receiver Chase Claypool for a second-round pick to the Chicago Bears.
Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Chase Claypool has been traded for a second-round draft choice. The second-round ask was true. He is going to the Chicago Bears.
It's kind of funny at this point.
Wow.
We're going to take the North and never give it back.
Wow. Okay. I guess Cooks isn't going to the Bears. Maybe he's still not being seen at the Houston Texans practice. Maybe he's still being fitted for a cheesehead. Maybe he's still being fitted for a cheesehead.
I'm the positive Pete right now.
Okay. We're now 2 hours and 20 minutes away from the trade deadline. 2 hours, 20 minutes away, trade deadline. That's it. I'm making a statement.
Do a silly deal.
That's a silly deal. That's a silly deal. Okay. Good God.
The Bears are all in.
Ah. Bears are dismantling the defense. They're trying to put weapons around Justin Fields, and rightfully so. There you go. Mark says, who cares? Why y'all freaking out? Mark, let me ask you this, Mark. Why don't you? What is your calming thought here? Give me your deep philosophy here. You know, give me the deep philosophy. Dylan says this only adds insult to injury when all the teams in the NFC North are making moves today and the Green Bay Packers stand pat. They have the best quarterback or the second to best quarterback in the league, and they're doing nothing. In other words, they're admitting their failures and moving on. I believe they want Aaron Rodgers out, and this is a way to do it. Now, wait a minute. If Aaron Rodgers goes away at the end of the season, if you believe that, then in essence you bankrupt the team for a year. I mean, you're just trashing next season then, and you're basically starting over, right? Because you're not going to have any money to pay anybody. You're getting rid of everybody at that point, and then you're asking Jordan Love, who is supposed to be, a high, and he is a high-end pick. He's this guy that is so coveted within the organization. You're throwing him into one of the worst possible situations, and I've seen this happen time and again growing up in Cincinnati, where you throw a first-round draft choice behind a bad offensive line into a bad team in a bad situation and say, oh, go be great, which it destroys their confidence, their ability to then be calm and handle things rather than being under the gun. And then you think when it gets better, they'll be great. And no, by then you've shot their confidence and shot their ability to rationally think, because all they know is getting the hell beat out of them and not success, and you ruin them. The Chase Claypool deal, the Bears get a 24-year-old wide receiver who is under contract through the end of 2023, had 10 touchdowns as a rookie. He's a big body vertical threat that could soon become Chicago's number one wide receiver, an upside player with plenty of talent, and he still fills a major need and is only getting better. That is the assessment on Chase Claypool.
That's what the Dolphins did as well, Bill, with Tua and Tyreek and Waddle. It's what the Eagles did with A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, they get rid of Roquan. They get rid of Roquan. They get rid of the money. They bring in Chase Claypool, good player. They've got money to spend then next year. And they can then go back and bolster that defense and still have draft choices to do it. They're building fast. But see, they've got a rookie contract, or, a rookie quarterback under contract. Dan Orlovsky just tweeted out Packers, and then in all capital letters, you cannot sit still. Tom Crabtree then responds and says, oh, just you wait, Dan, and wait some more and keep waiting until the deadline is passed and keep waiting. Tom Crabtree, former tight end for the Green Bay Packers, slamming the Green Bay Packers. Northland, Wisconsin says you don't pay a 2 for a mid-level receiver with a mid-level with only 1.5 years of control. No thanks. Packers aren't good enough to overpay. Are you crazy? I completely disagree with that. Bill Murphy needs to fire Goody right now. His ego has always written checks and his talent judgment can't cash it. 7 first-rounders on defense. They stink. Can't judge a quarterback. Can't judge wide receivers. Can't judge tight ends. Got to fire this guy now. That's Badger Base right there. Oh, my goodness. Bryce says right now at the Crow. Buzzard Billy's out there in La Crosse. Cheers, man. Cheers. Enjoy the food.
Wouldn't you like to be drinking right now?
Oh, my God. I got Kristen's got a business dinner tonight down in Chicago, so I'm driving. So when I get off the air, I got to go change, got to go throw on a suit, and then we're heading down to Chicago tonight for one of the clients. Actually, one of the clients we met when we were out at Super Bowl in L.A. He's flying into town. So we're doing that tonight. And otherwise, I would be sitting in the bar downstairs with a cigar, drinking, maybe smoking, and just screaming. And that's it. I mean, it's a Tuesday. There's nothing going on. I guess I would be down there in my green and gold Zubas, jumping around and giddy that the announcement came down today out of the Green Bay Packers organization that Jordy Nelson and Josh Sitton are going to be back as Packer Hall of Fame inductees. That's it. We are now 2 hours and 14 minutes away from the end of the trade deadline. That's it. Mike writes, the good news is Goody and Matt LaFleur both have their contract extension still intact. Yay. So I know it's tough to make fun, but it is. It's like, come on. And again, Northland, I understand where you're coming from because you want to put in value. Okay, first of all, the trade deadline, you're always going to overpay. But considering what you're giving up in an unproven player versus a proven player, I don't care if he's mid-tier or not, he's better than what you have. Okay? We'll all agree on that. Chase Claypool can walk through the door today and be your number one, hands down, over what you have. Maybe Romeo Dobbs will emerge, maybe Torrey, maybe Christian Watson, who knows? But right now, he would be your number one. So first of all, I'd trade a number one for a draft choice right now. No problem. Secondly, you're paying a quarterback $50 million and you're not giving him the weapons to throw to. It's the dumbest thing you could it's just stupid. It never made sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me. And they're doing nothing to correct the mistake from earlier this year. Now, granted, like I said, Rodgers has to take part ownership of this because it was the waffling back and forth to where he could have just called Devontae and said, hey, I'm going to run it back 3 years, dude. Let's do this. And Devontae probably would have said, gotcha, let's go. Devontae would have signed a 4 or 5 year deal worth a ton of money, maybe with an out clause after 3 years in case Rodgers leaves and he knows that Jordan Love isn't the guy. He could have ran it back. We're ready to go. Let's do this. And still kept the numbers, still kept the Hall of Fame type numbers moving in his direction, still been the safety blanket for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron's got to own some of this, but this is a mess. 877-867-1670. Hey, don't forget about our friend Speak. You know what I could use right now? I'll be honest with you. I could use a lot of Forgotten Fire wines. I could use quite a bit right now. Maybe tonight would have been the night. Sit downstairs, smoke a cigar, have a nice Merlot, good red, maybe a Moscato even. Maybe I'm feeling a little bubbly tonight. Who knows? But sat down there and just kind of said, cheers to the Green Bay Packers. Cheers to trying. Cheers to believing that what you have is just fine. Cheers to drinking the green and gold Kool-Aid. Cheers to successes in the past. Cheers to a hopeful future. But no, it ain't going to happen. That's our friends at Forgotten Fire Winery. They want to put fun in a bottle for you. So it doesn't matter how you like it, how you want to drink it. You just drink it your way and enjoy it. Go to ForgottenFireWinery.com. That is ForgottenFireWinery.com. Good stuff. And ask for it by name in grocery stores, liquor stores, and wine stores. That is Forgotten Fire Winery.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Cool weather, brisk winds, and a hot deal. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Is your home ready for winter weather? Don't wait. Right now, put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 2 years. When it's cold outside, thanks to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, you'll be warm and toasty inside. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin can be installed in as little as a day, with little to no disruption to your family or your home. Plus, you'll get expert advice from our Pella specialists, professional installation by Pella's certified installers, and the excellent service our customers have come to expect. And Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin has products and warranty offers you won't find anywhere else. Don't wait for the heating bills to start piling up. Right now, put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 2 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Expires 11/30/2022. Certain exclusions and restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Now, in Green Bay, here's Mike Clemens.
The Packers viewed the tape of their 27-17 loss to the Bills. The game started out with another crisis on Green Bay's offensive line when Elton Jenkins was placed on the inactive list, not for his knee, but for a foot injury he suffered last week in practice. Head coach Matt LaFleur.
It happened on Thursday. Just one of those deals where he got stepped on and thought he was going to be all right. I think he thought he was going to be all right. And, Sunday morning, didn't feel great. Took him out in pregame, worked him out, and it was one of those deals where he was having pain in a certain area and just didn't feel like it was worth the risk.
That meant rookie Zach Tom had to play left guard. The offensive line was able to move the ball in the ground game against the Bills' number 1 ranked defense, but came up short scoring points. Left tackle David Bakhtiari.
I appreciate the fight, but loss is a loss. Got to get it corrected. It's not something that I'm not going to take victories on these losses. It's a L in the L column. We got to get it fixed.
The Packers look to snap a 4-game losing streak when they head to Detroit to face the Lions on Sunday. The Lions losing another one at the buzzer. The Dolphins coming back down 27-17 at halftime to score a touchdown in the final seconds for a 31-27 win. The Lions are now 1-6. Head coach Dan Campbell.
Those guys came back and played well in the second half and stayed to their game plan, what they did, and we just. We didn't overcome it.
That's Lions head coach Dan Campbell. In Green Bay, I'm Mike Clemens on the Bill Michaels Show.
Great company right here in New Berlin, Wisconsin called Pindell. P-I-N-D-E-L. Pindell. And they are a quality manufacturing machining company. They're looking to hire. They pay some great wages, and they give some really good benefits, but also they train you, whether it's the old-fashioned way, robotics, whatever it happens to be. And if you're even looking to get into it and then possibly move on and start your own company, they want to help you out with that as well. It's a really good company. Global Precision Manufacturing. That is Pindell, P-I-N-D-E-L, P-I-N-D-E-L, Pindell.com. That is Pindell.com. There you go. Good friends over there at Pindell. Good sponsor of the program as well. Ime Udoka has emerged as the front runner to be the next Brooklyn Nets head coach. Apparently, at least according to The Athletic and the Stadium. After the Nets today fired Steve Nash, which this is just a joke. This is just like crazy. So here's the thing. Oh my goodness. I can't even bring that up. If I say that, people will lose their damn. I'll tell you after the top of the hour, so stay tuned for that. Here's the thing. Kyrie Irving puts out some anti-Semitic stuff, okay? And then doubles down on it. And basically says, look, I'm going to say what I want. I feel strongly about this. And it's, this is a league that really went to bat for inclusion, equity, race, religion, everything. I mean, and so far, they've done nothing to Kyrie on this. The Nets, I thought Brian Windhorst today on ESPN was fantastic, basically saying the Nets aren't going to do anything. They've never done anything. They never will do anything. Nobody stops Kyrie just because of his talent, and it's a joke. The Nets are a joke. They're now the team that everybody loves to hate, in my opinion. So, and not to mention Ben, our own Ben Kenny hates Ben Simmons, so there's another reason to hate him. But Kyrie, he's going to do whatever he wants to do, right? So he doesn't even have the balls to come out and kind of address all of this. They don't want him in front of the media because he's going to double down again and say, I'll do what I want to do. So Steve Nash takes the bullet and comes out and has to give the speak yesterday about how the organization will grow from this, will learn from this, and the whole thing. And then they fire him the next day. Wow. A guy that KD didn't even want around. Kevin Durant wanted him out. So it clearly nobody has control other than the players in Brooklyn. What an absolute joke of an organization. I hope they don't win another game the rest of their days. I really do. What a hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is just dripping throughout this whole situation. Anyway, when we come back, when we come back, you're not going to believe what was just tweeted out. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Hang in there. More to come right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the NFL trade deadline coming up at 3 p.m. today, sitting at 3-5. Many want the Packers to make a move. Coach Matt LaFleur says there have been talks with GM Brian Gutekunst.
Yeah, we've been having those conversations for weeks now, and it really comes down to opportunity. If the right opportunity presents itself, I know that Goody's all on board of trying to upgrade our roster. You're always trying to do that, but we're not going to just do a silly deal.
Well, in addition is what most people think would happen. LaFleur was asked if the team might be sellers.
I hope not. But, you never know.
Packers won't practice today, but will get back out there tomorrow to start prepping for a trip to Detroit. It's unlikely that linebacker Devondre Campbell will be out there. He's dealing with a knee injury. LaFleur said he didn't think it would be a long-term issue, but wasn't sure if he would go this week against the Lions. Turning to the Badgers, safety John Torchio has been named a semifinalist for the Bednarik Award. That goes to the top defensive player in the country. Torchio, second on the Badgers in tackles, tied for the lead in the country with 5 interceptions. He's also returned a pair of those for touchdowns. Badgers going to take on Maryland this Saturday.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Well, the Bucks are 6-0 for the first time since 2018. That's after a 110-108 win over the Pistons last night. Drew Holiday hit a go-ahead three-pointer in the final minute. He finished with 25 points, 10 assists. Milwaukee going to face the Pistons again tomorrow night. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
Oh, boy. This may make you lose your damn mind. It did me. Hey, I want to say thanks to our friends at Kunis Automotive, Kunes, Kunis Automotive and Kunis RV. Kunis Automotive specifically. We just returned the truck that they let us use for a while. We had, in case you missed it, we had a really a touching moment over the weekend for the veteran that we had seen and I had talked a little bit about on the motorcycle ride this past Labor Day. And he is in a hospice. He is hanging in there, but kind of day to day. And we got together as a group one more time and went over and said hello to this young man who is 80 plus years young. And hopefully he's around another year and we can pass him again and it'll be great. But we did a lot of stuff over the last few months that we needed to travel things around with, whether it was trailers or tents and setups and stuff. And Kunis stepped up and let us use a truck. And I just wanted to say thanks to Kunis RV. They really, they did a great thing for us. They did a great thing for veterans, helping us out and helping veterans out. So thanks to Kunis RV and Kunis Automotive. Go to Kunis RV, Kunes, KunisRV.com. That's KunisRV.com. Or if you just want to go to shopkunis.com, you can do that as well. But when you stop into any Kunis dealership, we went to the one in Stoughton out near Madison. But if you go to any Kunis, stop in and just say, hey, it's great what you guys did and girls did for the veterans this season. So we certainly appreciate it. 877-867-1670. Here you go. Here you go. So you have now heard, I'm sure, Chase Claypool has been traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers for a second-round draft choice, which is what the asking price was all along, to the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, right? Okay. As of 8 a.m. this morning, Josina Anderson, formerly of ESPN, okay, now with CBS Sports in the HQ. As of 8 a.m. this morning, she tweeted, I am told it was looking like the Packers were going to offer the best deal for Chase Claypool, per league sources. The Bears obviously swooped in and nabbed the Steelers wide receiver. No! So, Ben, my question now becomes, what the hell were the Packers offering? We all knew it was a second rounder, right?
Yeah, you would think. My first reaction to this is two things. Number one, the Bears totally used the Packers as a way, or the Steelers did, as a way to bring the asking price up. Number two, I think this is just the Packers PR machine trying to work, right? That's what the Brewers did for every single good player at the deadline this season. They're trying to throw out in the media, we were in on him, we couldn't get it done, we want to keep the draft pick, but we tried. We tried to make the team better, to make all the fans feel better about them doing nothing. That's my thought.
Now, Andrew Brandt just posted this. He said if the Packers offered a second as well, the feeling was that the Bears pick would be better than the Packers pick. I understand that. But you could have thrown in a 5th or a 7th round pick in later years. And by the way, the Bears were throwing in their actual pick, their own 2023 second rounder, not the one that they just acquired from the Ravens. Wow, just amazing. 877-867-1670. Robert Griffin III says the Packers need to be trading for Brandon Cooks. The report is that Cooks is not on the field at Texans practice today. So whether or not he's getting fitted for a cheesehead, we don't know. We're kind of hoping. We shall see.
Oh, we've also dodged the biggest trade that's happened today, Bill. Dustin Johnson traded Taylor Gooch this morning from the Four Aces to the Niblicks and has added Peter Uline to his squad for the upcoming live season.
Wow. Ben is all over it. Here's other breaking news. Herm Edwards coming back to ESPN as an analyst. There you go. The Vikings getting a trade with the division rival, if you want to call them a rival, Detroit Lions. They get TJ Hawkinson, the tight end. I'm still somewhat stunned. Just am. Where do you go from this today? We're less than 2 hours away from the trade deadline. Where do you go from this today? Yeah, that's what we need is little Herm Edwards right now in the front office of the Green Bay Packers. You play to win the game. There you go. Scott Grotsky of CBS 58 says trades going down. The Green Bay Packers are most likely going to sign Juwan Winfrey from the practice squad. That made me giggle, I have to admit. Oh my God. It makes you think what the Packers were offering, if anything. It's just like, what? Packers are always in the, Jimmy G says the Packers are always in the mix. More of Goody doing nothing. There you go. Michael says, what about Jerry Jeudy? Didn't we hear about him? That was another name that was out there. Andrew said the Bucks are still undefeated. We did a whole segment on the Bucks earlier, Andrew. So you got to listen to the entire program. Because you miss a minute, I mean, like, boom, you're so far behind it isn't funny. This program is a must. It's something that you have to pass down generationally to your kids to say, look, if you want to stay up on anything that's relevant, you got to listen to the Bill Michaels Show. Because if I don't catch it, Ben Kenny's all over it. Like stink on stuff. Tom says, oh, yeah, I'm sure Goody's on the phone right now. He's got Topper's Pizza on one line and another team on the other. He'll put the other team on hold, make his order for Topper's Pizza, and then come back only to find out that he missed out on one of his trade opportunities because he wanted the cheesy bread. Jeez. Oh, my God. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. Let's go back to the phone calls. Let's go to our buddy Dwayne listening to us in Oshkosh. Dwayne, how you doing, buddy?
Bill, I'm going to try to put some perspective on this. Now that you're kind of doing top 40 sports talk, rambling, gambling, slamming, all that. We have Superman at quarterback all these past years, correct? Everybody acknowledges one of the best ever. Did Adams do anything in his rookie year? Did Jordy Nelson do anything in his rookie year? Did James Jones do anything? One of the toughest three positions to play going into the league is wide receiver.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, they did some moves. And again, one of the two moves they did, they appeased the quarterback. They brought back Randall Cobb, nice kid, nice guy, but not what you needed. And then they go out and get Sammy Watkins. And I don't know if they can't physically put these guys in a locker room or put them on the field and say, run. We want to see if you can do that anymore, because there's nothing there anymore. It's obvious. There's nothing there. Robert Tonyan doesn't look like the football player that he was. As far as the offensive line, I was watching the game and I'm going, why is Zach Tom playing guard? Why is this kid that played tackle at Wake playing guard? And again, they're just playing, mix and match the pieces. I'm glad they didn't get Claypool. I don't think he's that good. The only one I would target is the guy you're talking about. He's about 29 years old, I think, and that's Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks.
The rest of these guys, they're guys. They're stuff. Now, I can feel really bad for the Watson kid because he's getting destroyed. You don't go out and acquire a concussion. But when you saw the play he got the concussion on, when's the last time you saw a Packer receiver get down the field that quick when he got the damn ball?
Oh, yeah. No,
there's no
denying he's fast. I'll give you that, no doubt.
Yeah. And when he got the reverse, and what game was that?
Oh,
when he got the reverse.
Yeah, it wasn't the Bears game. What was that? Was that
but what did he do? Game? He scored a touchdown.
The Jets game, I think.
He scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
He got the ball. No, it wasn't the Jets game, I don't think. It was early in the year. They had a reverse. They ran the motion stuff when he was healthy. He got the ball in a reverse, jet sweep, touchdown. So there is something there. As far as Dobbs, there is something there. I like the Samari Touré. But here's another thing that came up. And if you listen to the game, I think his name is Mike Tirico, the play-by-play guy for the network.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he's talking about Buffalo's defense, and they were running, it looked like they were running a 3-3-5, which was really weird. But he said all the defenses in the league are doing this now, staying ahead and you're going to bring it down the field. You're not going to have a long sustained drive because you're going to make a mistake at some point. So Green Bay is not the only one that's doing this. The biggest difference is Buffalo's 4 brings pressure. Our 4 doesn't.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, whether that's Zadarius Smith missing or whatever, all that stuff. DJ Moore, you could maybe get that guy because he likes, he likes to get in front of the cameras, take the helmet off, cost my team a game. I mean, but
he'll never do that again. Yeah.
No. And again, the thing is, when you went back to these drafts, every draft analysis guy across the country had Green Bay listed at least to be on their draft. So they said, wow, how did they get Dobbs? How did they get him in the 4th round?
Mm-hmm.
The 3rd round, I agree with you. The 3rd round is stunk. I don't know why you can't hit that 3rd round lately.
Right.
But there is some stuff there. But as far as Claypool, big deal. Whoopee. I'm sorry, I'm just not that thrilled that he would come in and make that difference. Brandon Cooks is a speed guy, and he can stretch the field, and that may be one thing that Superman needs. And the funny thing is, when the Toure kid catches a touchdown, did he catch it on the route? No. He broke the route off, turned it to the side, went where he wasn't supposed to be, and Rodgers just happened to roll out and said, "Oh, there you are." And that's what Rodgers always talks about, the secondary offense that isn't really the offense. So if that's his whole career, secondary offense, okay, then we've had a miracle man, magic man, but why can't we just hit the freaking patterns coming out of the blocks once? I mean, you look at film and you continually see it. And I think one of the best is Greg Cosell. I know you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And when he breaks down film, there's guys open, Bill. He's just not finding them. Even on the first pass to Toure, the damn thing was in the dirt. He's wide open. If he catches that ball, as you know, in the West Coast offense, as it's designated, you catch the ball with the hands in front. And that's when
absolutely.
You get yacked.
I completely agree.
And he's not doing that.
No, he doesn't do it all the time. That's one of the reasons he is a decent receiver. I appreciate the phone call. I got to run here, but Chase Claypool, the reason I would take Claypool, one, he's a big body. Two, he's also on a rookie deal. He's only going to get better, and he's been good with craptastic quarterback play. So I would take, he's only got one touchdown on the season so far, but he's got 35, 40 receptions or something like that, 30 something, I don't know, 32 receptions, 311 yards. But he's a big body. He would come in and instantly be better than what you have. He would go from being, a good player to a really good player and a number one on this one. He's had 50 targets so far. He's averaging close to 100 yards receiving per game that he's played in. I'd take him in a heartbeat, and he's on a rookie deal. (877-867-1670). Want to hit us up? Feel free to go ahead and do so. And as far as, and I agree with you about the young guys. By the way, Romeo Dobbs was a 4th round, not a 3rd round. But I agree with you. No doubt. The problem is that's not the scenario you have right now. If you go by everything you stated, which is true, then why did you pay a quarterback $50 million for the next 3 years? Because you're not going to grow these guys and make them all Pro Bowlers within a couple of years only to watch your quarterback leave. Then why would you pay the money? Ben, give me something.
Bill, we have another trade. The Washington Commanders have traded cornerback William Jackson III to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
By the way, the Vikings placed their tight end Irv Smith on IR today. So there you go. Lovie Smith stated that he talked to Brandon Cooks today. He said, when I say a guy is excused for personal reasons, I never talked about the personal reasons. Asked if the Texans are receiving offers for Cooks. If we did, I'm not going to talk about it, is what he stated. And he said he hasn't been traded. No indications as of now that's going to change in the next hour or so, 49 minutes. He said, but, quote, stay tuned. Don't know.
It's a damn shame that all of this is overshadowing the fact that the Astros are cheating again.
How are the Astros cheating again? What'd they do?
They just are. Someone's using an illegal bat. Another guy has substances on his hands. I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
There you go. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Quick Trip. Don't forget the Packers have the opening drive contest going on right now. They're going to have to run the ball because they have nobody to throw to at this point. We're not really sure who Aaron Rodgers is going to throw to. He's a game manager now, as he stated. But the opening drive for every yard garnered by the Green Bay Packers on the opening drive, if you are chosen, will get you $10 per yard. If they score, $500. How about that? Not a bad way to go right there. All on top of it. Just stop into your local Quick Trip. And I did it today. I filled up the car because I'm going to be taking a trip. Filled up the car today. Typed in the quick rewards number. I use a different name so that way they don't know it's me. So I'm still eligible to win. Who knows? Maybe that phony name will be called, and I'll be getting some cash coming up this weekend when the Packers go on the road and face a Detroit Lions team who has traded away everybody at this point. So we'll see what happens. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. I might have to go to Quick Trip just to go into the beer cave. You may find me in a local Quick Trip later tonight. I won't even buy anything. I'm just going to go sit in the beer cave, start drinking. Whatever the empties are, that's what I'll pay for. Kind of pay as you go. Stop into your local Quick Trip and support Quick Trip. They are a proud sponsor, maybe cringing a little bit at this point, of the Green Bay Packers. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Wisconsin isn't snobby, snooty, or pretentious. It's Midwestern charm at its finest. And that's exactly what Forgotten Fire Winery in Peshtigo is all about. Fun in a bottle without the attitude. You can find their full wine and cider lineup in their tasting room or in liquor and grocery stores throughout the state. The winery is a great place to get away for wine and cider tastings, great live music, and private events all year long. Remember, any time is a great time for Forgotten Fire wines and ciders. Wisconsin wine made from Wisconsin people.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Stoley's Hog Alley yesterday. Oh my goodness, that place is. You can finally see the vision. It's going to be awesome when it's done. Stoley's Hog Alley out in Oconomowoc, in the Summit area to be exact. But it used to be this kind of hole-in-the-wall biker bar. It was just really good food, and you could still bring the family in there and enjoy it. Now it is expanded, and I can't wait for the grand reopening. Oh my goodness, it's going to be beautiful. 2 decks on this thing. The new dining room has the garage doors that open up, and the parking lot's going to be completely redone. The bar itself's getting redone. It's beautiful inside. But they haven't opened it up yet. I got a little bit of a sneak preview, but man, what a cool place. So I encourage you to keep paying attention to that. And in the meantime, you can keep supporting Jeff and Alicia and the gang from Stoley's Hog Alley North in Stoles 0109 up there in Watertown. 2 great places, and cannot wait for the grand reopening of Stoley's Hog Alley. It's telling me so. 877-867-1670. You want to find us, do it. And this is going to be the question tomorrow. Okay? This is what the question is going to be tomorrow. Was if indeed the Packers don't do anything, how do you feel about that? What are your thoughts? We'll get into that tomorrow. Oh, Ben's got a big update. Ben's got an update. What's the update, Ben?
It does not warrant the sounder. I'm not going to boy who cried wolf people all day, though I might do it a couple more times here. Aaron Rodgers is on Pat McAfee as we speak. There are 2 big things. Number 1, he has shaved his beard. If people care. Number 2, the Packers had a Halloween party.
All right.
That's it.
What did he go as?
I stopped listening to the clip 10 seconds in because they were talking about something else, but I'll get through it.
Oh, that's awesome. I have no idea. Doesn't matter. Not worth breaking the sounder for us. Uh-oh. Got
Bill,
something else?
Another one. Yeah, just crossed. Adam Schefter. Another big trade. The Denver Broncos are trading linebacker Bradley Chubb to the Miami Dolphins. That includes that is for a package, including the first-round pick Miami got from San Francisco. Bradley Chubb, first-round pick.
There you go.
The Dolphins.
There you go. Okay, Scott, I love it, man. Scott just tweeted me. He said it's the Halloween version of the NFC North trade deadline. It's the Peanuts version, all of them. There's the Packers, the Bears. I got a tight end coming from the Minnesota Vikings. Bears saying I got a receiver. Packers saying I got a rock. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, okay. There you go. Jeff says this stinks. He has sucked in so many ways, talking about Brian Gutekunst. This is from Derek, who says, I just can't get over this organization and their arrogance to think that whatever they touch turns to gold, and therefore they cannot stoop to go out and get somebody else's product. I don't know. I guess. Jason says, same old Packers. Why do we even wake up today? Adam says, oh, he's got a meme of a guy going, like, what's going on? Says Aaron Rodgers' face when he realizes he's not getting a wide receiver. I don't know. Maybe we'll find if Judy or somebody else ends up coming to the Green Bay Packers. I'm talking Judy out in Denver, not somebody named Judy. Judy. Tom says, when do pitchers and catchers report? I know, right? Kind of there with you on that. Jay says, I'm just shaking my head. John says, Goody got his extension. Why should he make us any better? I can't even read that one. I don't even know what the hell it means. Thomas says, I just fear we are at the precipice of mediocrity, and it's terrifying. Daniel says, are we surprised? We've all been here before. Tyler says, what is going on with the Packers? Brantley Chubb to the Dolphins. Lame Packers update. Dwayne, it is what it is. Alex says the whole league is against Green Bay. We've been so good for so long, and what I see on the field, any amount of trades for players and future draft picks are not going to help us. Jordan Love era under Matt LaFleur is going to be awful. Mark says, time to trade Rodgers. You can't. You can't trade Rodgers because the money comes due. Unless you're going to find somebody to say, yeah, we've got $50 million to spare. We'll take it. Let's see here. Steve says, this is a joke. Same old Packers asleep at the wheel. Tim says, I'm fine with it. Hang on to the draft choices. Maybe this team will get better in 5 years. Oh, yeah, that's right. We won't have Aaron Rodgers. Doug says,
hey, Bill.
Yeah, go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show did say that he is impressed with what Samori Toure has done in the wide receiver room.
There you go. There you go. Odell Beckham Jr. following the Buffalo Packers game the other night had damn Buffalo exclamation point with laughing emojis. And I don't know what that one emoji is. Looks like a piece of bacon on its head. I don't know what that means. But laughing at how easy it was in the first half of the ball game for Buffalo Bills. Dan says, this is the beginning of the end. Let's just accept it. Mo says, can't believe the Green Bay Packers aren't doing anything. What is wrong with Goody? Has he been told by Lord Murphy not to do anything? John said, I remember the days when you never made a trade at the trade deadline. Apparently, the Packers are stuck in the 60s. There you go. That's a lot of the reaction today. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free. Go ahead and give us a shout. Phone lines are wide open and reaction pouring in. Packers haven't done anything as of yet. We are now 1 hour and 29 minutes away from the trade deadline expiring. 1 hour, 29 minutes away from the trade deadline expiring. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Stenny's. Hell of a party the other night. If you're looking to take the shuttles to and from games, all you got to do is go down to Stenny's, second in National Walker's Point, and congratulate Ryan Stenny. They just made the announcement over the last couple of days of the oncoming birth of their second child. Second child now on the way. Fantastic job. It's good to know it works, I guess, right? There you go. That's our buddy Ryan. Good stuff for Ryan and his wife, Britt, and the family and the gang over there at Stenny's, second in National Walker's Point. Love that place. Absolutely, positively love it. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. Glad to have you on board. It's been a wild day today. It really has. By the way, this portion of the program, I'll tell you this. If I was not going to Chicago tonight for dinner, I would be down at the Nets-Nash. I thought about that. Probably be down there today. I had 2 people reach out to me and say, hey, cigars and drinks tonight. We're going to need it after the Packers not doing anything. I would. I so would. I got to go to Chicago tonight, though, unfortunately. But, yeah, I'd be heading down to the Nets-Nash. 323 West Main Street, downtown Waukesha. And I hope that I haven't even looked yet to see the date of the Christmas parade this year, but I would love to be down there for that after what happened last year. I'd be love to be down there. Hot cocoa inside Nets-Nash, a good cigar, bourbon or a whiskey alongside. After I get done with the hot cocoa, I'll be so good. So good. I would love to be doing that tonight with you guys. I just can't, unfortunately. But otherwise, I would be. Hopefully, you enjoy it. And on the weekend, they have entertainment. Go to theniceash.com, theniceash.com. Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee Show. I was kind of hoping there might be some news during this show, talking about the Pat McAfee Show, that we can break in live time. That would be pretty cool. Aaron Rodgers saying to Pat McAfee, feeling that he said, I was kind of hoping. In other words, he didn't say, I'm kind of hoping. Like, hey, well, there's still some things going on here, man. There's still some things going on here. How are we looking? I'm hoping we can break it now. Instead, he's like, I was kind of hoping, but, we know how they work in Green Bay. Not going to happen. Not anytime soon. So don't think it's going to pan out, unfortunately. I hope it does. I still do. I would love for the Green Bay Packers to make me eat my words of my opening rant. Would love it. I just don't see it happening right now. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free. Give us a shout. Again, 877-867-1670. Mark says, I think Brian Gutekunst is still waiting at his house to hand out candy. Hey, first of all, it's Brian, not Mark. He says, hey, Mark, wake up. Halloween was yesterday. Oh, my God. Patty says, do the Packers even know today's the trade deadline? Or are they putting up the Christmas tree? A lot of holiday stuff, sarcasm now flowing. Holy mackerel. Oh, my goodness. Let's go to Kevin listening to us in Green Bay. Kevin, how you doing today, man? What's happening?
Not bad at all. How about yourself?
I'm hoping. I'm holding my breath that something happens. We may have to fire off another prayer here real soon.
Well, you can keep holding your breath. It's not going to happen. But and I really don't think it should happen because they've already salvaged their future for this season and put so much money into Aaron Rodgers, David Bakhtiari, Jair Alexander. What do you want to do? Screw over the next 10 years other than the next 3 years?
It would probably screw over the next couple of years, yeah.
Well, they're already kind of banking on this year, couple years. And if and when Aaron Rodgers decides to retire after this year, then they're going to have $40+ million in dead cap space.
Yep.
Then they're going to be cut.
Oh, I think we lost Kevin. Kevin, sorry we lost you. Look, Kevin, I get where you're coming from. But if you're not going all in, then why would you have paid him to begin with? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. And you got to believe that Rodgers for $50 million is coming back next year. You got to figure that, right? So if you can get somebody that can help you now and next year possibly make a run, I'd go for that. I'd do that. Yeah, you kick the can down the road. You know that. There's no breaking news there. But if you're not all in, then what are you doing? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670.
I don't know. I think Samori Toure could really be the difference here. Take the offense to the next level.
Yeah, apparently Aaron Rodgers is all in on Samori Toure.
I have to say, friend of show Grant Bills was all over that. He texted me after the touchdown on Sunday and said Rodgers will lead his press conference saying, oh, yeah, now we're gaining trust because he was able to break off a route and catch the ball.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I thought Samori Toure was solid in the preseason. I'm not going to deny that.
The fellow college football sickos out there will resonate with this, but he's been catching balls from an elite quarterback for 4 years.
Well, maybe Samori Toure is going to be the... Samori Toure would be, if he turned out, he would be like that version of Donald Driver. When you're sitting there and Ron Wolf says to Donald Driver, man, if you make this team, you're going to make this draft. As a 7th-round draft choice. He would be the Donald Driver of this year's draft. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? Feel free. Give us a shout. Give us a shout. So far, nada out of the Packers organization. Just an FYI. Nada. Mickey says, I really don't expect the Packers to do much. You have to believe that you're only a few players away if you're going to make a deal. Do you really think this team is only a few players away? Well, like I said, maybe not. But this whole thing, the argument is if you're not in this thing to win it, then why did you pay Rodgers to come back to begin with? I don't understand the mentality. And if you're not going to win it now, at least start setting yourself up for next year. Get a bona fide wideout that can come into the system now, work with Rodgers now, hopefully get on the same page now, and then pick up where they left off at the beginning of the OTAs, mini camps, training camp, whatever it happens to be, wherever Rodgers shows up. Why wait to do it till next year? You know what you need. And then if you solidify that position and you get your guys like Samori Toure, like Romeo Doubs, and eventually Christian Watson back, and you get that to where those guys begin to come on and you've got a bona fide wideout, then it gives you 4 wideouts. One of which has experience and can be a true number one going into next season. And that way it frees you up in the draft. There's no downside to this. That's what I don't understand. You're looking at it as, oh my God, you're losing a second round draft. Well, who's to say I'd rather have a proven guy now this year and going into next season than an unproven guy you hope is on the same page with Rodgers going into next year. I'd take a sure thing versus over an unsure thing at this point. 877-867-1670. Bill, do you believe there's a conspiracy that this team wants Aaron Rodgers out? No, I don't. I've heard that. No. And here's the reason why. Why pay the man? Why do you pay him if you don't want him? That would be one of the dumbest things to ever do. Right? That'd be just dumb, as dumb could be. I don't know why you would do that. Because what is it proving? You're not saving face with who? Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. Another segment yet to go. Maybe something will happen in the time we break away. Maybe not. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Robert's Specialty Meats Waukesha. Down there, whether it's the Al Capone roast, I could use some of that too. Maybe this weekend I'll do that. Al Capone roast, the sausages, the ribs on a stick, such good stuff. The meat salad, or they cater. They can help you out with events as well. A lot of good stuff that they can cook up right then and there. You just go through the buffet. Oh, good stuff from our friends at Robert's Specialty Meats in Waukesha. Go to robertspecialtymeatswaukesha.com. Your hometown butcher, robertspecialtymeatswaukesha.com.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin SportsZone Radio Network.
Cool weather, brisk winds, and a hot deal. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Is your home ready for winter weather? Don't wait. Right now, put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 2 years. When it's cold outside, thanks to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, you'll be warm and toasty inside. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin can be installed in as little as a day with little to no disruption to your family or your home. Plus, you'll get expert advice from our Pella specialists, professional installation by Pella's certified installers, and the excellent service our customers have come to expect. And Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin has products and warranty offers you won't find anywhere else. Don't wait for the heating bills to start piling up. Right now, put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 2 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Expires 11/30/2022. Certain exclusions and restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Life's about taking the road less traveled, and doing it in style, well, that makes it even better. Take the Tahoe. This November, Potawatomi is giving away not one, but 2 Chevy Tahoes. Just play with your club card and you could win a brand new Chevy Tahoe or your share of over $400,000 in cash and prizes. Your win is waiting. Take the Tahoe. Only at Potawatomi. Visit paysbig.com/Tahoe for more. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Now, in Green Bay, here's Mike Clemens.
The Packers head back to the practice field tomorrow to get ready for a road trip to Detroit. Head coach Matt LaFleur says the game plan for Buffalo Sunday night was to feature rookie receiver Christian Watson in a number of deep pass plays. But Watson was nearly knocked out on a helmet-to-helmet collision after his first and only reception in the game. Matt LaFleur.
I know he was disappointed post-game when I talked to him in the locker room, but I thought overall, he seemed to be in relatively a good state of mind, if that makes any sense.
The Packers have now lost 4 in a row, including losses to the Jets and the Commanders. What was the difference in losing to the Bills and quarterback Josh Allen? Packers outside linebacker Preston Smith.
We lost to the number 1 team in the NFL. It was a close game. It's a lot of good things we put on tape, and it's a lot of good things we can learn from. And we fixed our mistakes and made sure that we came out and played more better in the second half. And we was conscious of our rush lanes and not let him get out the pocket and using his legs to make plays and force him to stay in the pocket and throw and try to give him an uncomfortable pocket. It's a lot of things we can we put on tape that we got to learn from and fix to make sure we don't make those mistakes going forward.
Up next, the Packers face the Lions at Ford Field, who lost another heartbreaker at home, this time to the Miami Dolphins. The Lions blew a 27-17 halftime lead to Miami to fall 1-6, losing now 5 in a row. Quarterback Jared Goff.
It's really hard. Typically all these games are going to be one score, right? And the teams that have the good records right now are on the right side of that, and the teams that don't aren't, and we've been on the wrong side of it. We scored 27 in the first half, and how do we make that to 40 in the second half or 40 more, whatever it needs to be. Our defense, I thought, was doing a pretty good job, and we need to find a way to score one more touchdown and maybe a different game.
That's Lions quarterback Jared Goff. In Green Bay, I'm Mike Clemens on The Bill Michaels Show.
Welcome back to the program. We are glad you are with us. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Hey, not to not to deter you if you're out there thinking about maybe getting married, that big day, maybe something for the holidays, gift-wise, for that special someone. Don't forget about our friends at Kane and Kane Jewelers, here to rock your world. They're in West Bend. And you can go to KOEHN, KaneJewelry.com. That's KaneJewelry.com. You got a ladies' night coming up on Thursday night, November 10th from 3 to 7. They've got pre-approved and pre-loved handbags, high-end handbags, purses, some wish list discounts, giveaways. They got an Anna Beck pop-up that night. Go to KaneJewelry.com. That is KaneJewelry.com to make your reservation. And a lot of other stuff, plus the Buy Like a Guy podcast. Uncle A's Straight Talk. Buy Like a Guy podcast. Good stuff from KaneJewelry.com. That's KaneJewelry.com. This one from Tom Silverstein of the Journal Sentinel. He says, unless something happens last minute, the Packers are not showing interest in Texans running back or wide receiver Brandon Cooks. The cap ramifications make it almost impossible for them to do anything unless Houston eats a big part of that salary, which is what I said. You know, you look at the guaranteed $18 million, so half of that is $9 million. And if, say, they would eat $7 million of that, then you take them off their hands. Otherwise, you probably don't make that deal. But it's not impossible, put it that way. Like some are saying you can't do it. No, you could do it. But it's not impossible. Just an FYI. So the Packers not in, apparently. Oh, Ben, what do we got? Give me good news.
I hate to do this, Bill. The San Francisco 49ers have traded running back Jeff Wilson to the Dolphins.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. 49ers trade their running back to the Dolphins. So the Dolphins are at least positioning themselves to make some type of a run. By the way, another piece of news came out of Twitter today. Elon Musk, since taking over, has fired people. If you want the blue check mark to remain next to your name, you have to pay him $8 a month. And if you want a blue check mark to be a verified person, you have to pay him $8 a month. Something about giving it back to the people. I always thought the blue check mark was if you were really a verified social influencer in some way, shape, or form. I always thought that's what that was. Because how many Ian Rappaport accounts are there out there? So what do we say? We always said, look for the blue check mark. The one that's actually been verified. That's what I always thought it was it was a verified influencer account. So there you go. Big breaking news.
Bill, there might be one more trade, and I'm not going to play the sounder for it.
Okay.
The Jaguars reportedly, according to Mia O'Brien, TV there in Jacksonville, are trading for Falcons wide receiver Calvin Ridley.
There you go. Who knew? Nothing going on. Packers. Shh. Packers did make the big announcement today. Jordy Nelson, Josh Sitton are going to be inducted into the Packers Hall of Fame. We're now 1 hour and 1 minute and 38 seconds away from the trade deadline. Packers at the trade deadline almost 3 years ago today. Rinse and repeat, same old song and dance. Frugal general manager, always in on the conversation, but never pulls the trigger. That is from Terry. Doug says, please, God, don't go. You've been the only thing keeping me alive today. I can't stand all the Packers-less moves. Doug, time for me to go. I'm heading down to Chicago. Hey, they traded for Claypool. I'll see if they're celebrating when I go get dinner tonight. I'll let you know what it's like when I come back tomorrow. Time for us to go. Have